Hello there, and welcome back to my channel. Before we begin, take a quiet moment to settle in and let the day loosen its hold while your breath finds an easy rhythm. Whether you are listening at night or in a soft morning, let the noise drift to the edges and let the mind rest in the middle. Imagine a pale arc of light above a sleeping world where the air feels warm and hushed and the darkness holds a gentle shimmer. Around you, starlight folds across quiet dust. Waves of light travel through the dark, faint clouds. Breathe in long and patient turns. This is the gentle journey through the evolution of life. Not a single moment, but a story, moving with the turning of the stars, unhurried, wide and calm. It is a tale of three soft elements: time, ocean, water, and the first breaths. What if every cell in your body still remembers the feeling of floating in the ancient ocean? And what if the spaces between past and present are not empty, but quietly alive, with slow motion across millions of years? Where are you listening from right now? And what is the weather of your room? Quiet, dim, rainy, or warm? While we share this small moment under the same sky, if you enjoy slow journeys like this, you are welcome to stay a little longer. Maybe follow along, no rush, just a seat beside the soft glow. So let your thoughts fall to the pace of drifting light, and we will begin our gentle walk through the gentle journey, through the evolution of life, moving through it like a tide that knows its way home. Imagine a vast ocean, warm with no shore in sight. The blue-green water stretches to the horizon. There are no crashing waves, only gentle ripples, slow, like the breathing of someone fast asleep. This is where everything began. This is the first home of life. Beneath the calm surface, sunlight filters down through each layer. The light is not harsh, like it is on land. It softens as it travels deeper, turning from bright gold to pale blue, then to a quiet green. Each beam of light moves slowly through the water as if it has all the time in the world. In this ancient ocean, the water is warm against your skin. If you could float here, you would feel weightless, cradled by the gentle current. There is no up or down, no weight pressing on your body, just the soft embrace of water all around you, holding you, rocking you in a rhythm older than mountains. This ocean is not empty. It is alive, but not in the way you might think. There are no fish yet, no whales, no coral reefs, only the simplest forms of life so small you cannot see them with your eyes. Tiny single cells drifting without purpose, without destination. These first living things are so simple. They have no eyes to see, no ears to hear, no thoughts to think. They only exist floating in the warm water, absorbing sunlight, slowly dividing into two, then four, then more. There is no hurry in their movements. Time stretches out endlessly, and they have nowhere to be. The ocean rocks them gently, back and forth. The rhythm of the tide is slow, so slow you could fall asleep to it. One wave might take hours to travel across the surface. One tide might last for days. Everything moves at the pace of dreams. Imagine being one of these tiny cells. You have no worries, no fears, no plans for tomorrow. You simply float in the warm embrace of the ocean. The water is your mother, your home, your whole world. It feeds you, protects you, carries you wherever it flows. Sunlight touches your surface, and you drink it in, not with a mouth, but through your entire being. The light becomes energy, becomes life itself. You don't work for it. You don't struggle. It simply happens as natural as breathing. Around you, millions of others, just like you, drift in the same gentle current. You are not alone, but you don't know they are there. There is no loneliness, no connection, just peaceful existence, side by side in the vast blue world. The ocean is warm, like bath water, that has been sitting just long enough. Not too hot, not too cold, but perfectly comfortable. If you could sink into this water, you would never want to leave. Your body would remember this temperature, this feeling of being held without effort. Days pass then, years then, thousands of years. Nothing changes quickly here. The sun rises and sets above the water, painting the surface gold and the morning pink in the evening. But beneath the waves, the light is always soft, always filtered, always gentle. There are no seasons in this ancient ocean, no winter cold, no summer heat, just an endless warm afternoon that stretches across ages. The water temperature stays the same decade after a decade, century after century. This is the gift of the early Earth, a world with gentle weather, perfect for the first fragile life. You can hear the ocean if you listen closely, not the sound of waves, but something deeper, a low hum like the earth itself breathing. The water moves in slow currents, swirling in patterns that take thousands of years to complete. You could spend your whole life drifting in one small part of this current, traveling in circles so wide you would never notice. The ocean floor is far below, so far you cannot see it, but it is there covered in soft mud, still and silent. Nothing lives down there yet. It is too dark, too deep, too far from the sunlight. All life stays near the surface, where the light can reach where warmth remains. Above the water, the sky is different from the sky you know. It holds different colors, different clouds, but none of that matters to the tiny cells below. They know only water, only light, only the gentle rocking motion that never ends. This is where you come from. Your ancestors, so many generations back, you cannot count them, lived in this warm ocean. They floated here content and peaceful for longer than your mind can imagine. They had no thoughts of leaving, no dreams of crawling onto land. The ocean was everything, and in this perfect cradle, life learned its first lessons: how to exist without rushing, how to take only what you need, how to float with the current instead of fighting against it, how to rest in the arms of something larger than yourself. The ocean remembers, and somewhere deep in your cells in the salt water that still runs through your veins, you remember too. When you float in water, when you feel that weightless peace, you are remembering this ancient home. You are feeling what your first ancestors felt billions of years ago. So let yourself drift now, like those first simple cells. Let the gentle rocking of this story carry you. There is no rush, no destination, only the warm embrace of time moving slowly like the ancient tides that shaped all life on Earth. Close your eyes and feel the water around you. Feel the sunlight filtering down through layers of blue and green. Feel yourself becoming smaller, simpler, lighter, just a single cell floating in an endless, warm ocean with nothing to do but exist and rest and slowly, gently become. Now let's drift a little closer to these first beings. They have names, though they don't know it. Bacteria, blue-green algae, words that sound scientific, but they describe something beautifully simple. These are the masters of doing nothing and doing it perfectly. Imagine being so small that a single drop of water is an entire world. You are tinier than a grain of sand, lighter than a whisper. You have no heart beating inside you, no lungs drawing breath. You are just a small bubble of life, wrapped in a delicate wall, floating wherever the current takes you. There is no morning routine for these tiny beings. No waking up, no getting ready, no plans for the day. They simply exist moment by moment, suspended in the warm water. Time passes differently when you are this small, this simple. A day might feel like a year. A year might pass like a single breath. What do they need to survive? Almost nothing. Just two things: light from the sun above and water all around. That's all. No food to hunt, no shelter to build, no competition for resources. The ocean provides everything endlessly, without asking for anything in return. When sunlight touches their surface, something quiet and magical happens. The light transforms into energy, filling them with life. Not quickly, not dramatically, but slowly, like warmth spreading through your body on a cold morning. This is enough. This simple exchange between light and life is all they need. They don't move with purpose. There are no muscles to flex, no fins to push them forward. They simply drift, turning slowly in the current, following the invisible paths that water carves through the ocean, sometimes up toward the light, sometimes down into the cooler depths. It doesn't matter. They accept wherever they go. Stress is something they will never know. There are no deadlines in the ancient ocean, no appointments to keep, no tasks left undone. Every moment is the same as the one before it and the one that will come after. Just floating, just being, just the slow dance of existence. When they grow, it happens without effort or intention. The single cell simply becomes too full of life, and quietly it splits into two. One becomes two, two become four, not because they want to, but because this is what life does. It continues, it multiplies, slowly, patiently, without rushing. This division takes time, more time than you might imagine. Hours might pass between each split, sometimes days. There is no hurry. The ocean has been here for ages, and it will be here for ages more. Why rush when you have all of time stretched out before you like an endless afternoon? Think about how different this is from your own life. You wake with lists in your mind, places to go, people to see, things to accomplish. But these first life forms, they wake to nothing but water and light. They have no to-do list, no goals, no ambitions, and yet they survive perfectly. There is something deeply peaceful about this kind of existence. To need so little, to want nothing more than what is already there. The bacteria don't dream of becoming something else. The algae don't wish for legs to walk on land. They are complete exactly as they are floating in their warm, blue world. Billions of years pass this way. Can you imagine billions of years of just floating, just absorbing light, just dividing slowly into more? Most of Earth's entire history is this story, this quiet tale of simple beings living simple lives in the gentle ocean. They teach us something if we listen. These ancient tiny teachers show us that survival doesn't require complexity. You don't need to be fast or strong or clever. Sometimes the secret to lasting is to stay simple, to take only what you need, to move with the current instead of fighting it. Around them, the water stays warm. The sun rises and sets countless times. Seasons that will come later don't exist yet. There is only the eternal now, the endless present moment that these simple beings live in. No memory of yesterday, no worry about tomorrow. Just this moment, and this one, and this one. If you could shrink down and join them, you might find a strange kind of freedom. No one expects anything from you. You don't have to be anywhere. You don't have to become anything. You can just be suspended in the water, soaking in the light, letting time wash over you like gentle waves. The algae turn the ocean green, in some places, creating vast clouds of color that drift for thousands of miles. But they don't know they're beautiful. They don't see themselves as part of something larger. Each one is just living its own small, simple existence. And together, without trying, they paint the ocean with life. At night, when the sun sets and darkness comes, they rest. Not sleep exactly, but a quieter state. They slow down even more than usual. Their chemical reactions soften. They wait patiently for the light to return, as it always does, as it has done every single day since they first appeared. There are no predators yet to fear. Nothing hunts these tiny beings. They float unthreatened, unbothered, in perfect safety. The ocean is their mother and their guardian, keeping them safe in her vast blue arms. They will never know what it means to run, to hide, to feel afraid. Imagine having a life with no fear at all, where every moment is safe, where you can close your eyes, or what would be eyes if you had them, and just drift, knowing nothing will harm you. This is their gift, this complete and total peace. And perhaps deep in your own cells, you remember this peace. Your ancestors lived this way once billions of years ago. They knew how to be simple. They knew how to need nothing. They knew how to float without destination. That memory is still in you, waiting quietly, like a song you've forgotten, but can still somehow hum. So, as you rest now, as your own breath becomes slower and deeper, think of these first simple beings. Think of how they lived for so long with so little, how they found completeness in simplicity, how they turned light into life with nothing but patience and time. Let yourself become simple too, just for now. Let go of the complex thoughts, the tangled worries, the endless lists. Be like the bacteria, like the algae. Just float, just exist, just breathe in the light, and let everything else drift away on the gentle current. The ocean rocks on, as it has for billions of years, and in its warm embrace, the simplest forms of life continue their slow, peaceful dance. No beginning, no end, just the eternal middle, where time stretches out like still water, and where nothing needs to be anything more than what it already is. After ages in the water, something begins to change so slowly you would never notice. Some of the algae, the tiny green beings we met before, start drifting closer to the shore, not by choice, but carried by currents and tides. The ocean breathes them in and out, and sometimes they wash up on the wet rocks near the edge of the sea. At first they don't survive. The air is too dry, the sun too harsh, without water to filter its light. They dry out and fade away, but the ocean is patient, and it keeps trying, keeps washing more and more onto the shore, again and again for millions of years. Then, one day, after countless attempts, some of them hold on. They cling to the damp rocks. They find moisture in the spray of waves. They learn very slowly to live in this strange new world between water and air. These are the first mosses, the pioneers, the brave ones who left the ocean behind. Imagine being a tiny moss, barely bigger than a fingernail pressed against wet stone. The rock beneath you still holds the warmth of the ocean. It stays damp from the mist that rises with each wave. You're no longer floating. For the first time, you're still attached to something solid. It feels different here. The water doesn't hold you anymore. You must grip the rock, must spread yourself flat against it to avoid drying out. There is gravity now, pulling you down, something you never felt in the weightless ocean. But you adapt, slowly, over generations, over millions of years. The coastal rocks become covered in thin green carpets. Moss spreads in soft patches, clinging to any surface that stays wet enough. Each tiny plant is simple, so simple. No flowers, no seeds, no tall stems reaching for the sky. Just small green leaves pressed close to the ground, drinking the moisture from fog and rain. These mosses don't move, they don't hunt, they don't compete for space in any aggressive way. They simply grow millimeter by millimeter, year after year. One generation gives way to the next, and the green carpet spreads a little further from the water's edge. Rain becomes their closest friend. When it falls, they soak it up like a sponge, storing every drop in their soft bodies. They can survive weeks without water going dormant, waiting patiently for the next rainfall. When it comes, they wake again green and fresh, as if no time has passed at all. Slowly, very slowly, they venture further inland. They find wet places, near streams, near waterfalls, in the shadows of rocks where dew gathers each morning. They learn to live without the ocean, though they never truly leave it behind. They still need water. They still remember the sea. As millions of years pass, something remarkable happens beneath the surface. The moss begins to reach down, not just spread out. Tiny thread-like structures push into the damp soil, searching for moisture. These are not quite roots yet, but they are learning. They are discovering how to hold on, how to drink from the earth itself. The soil here is new, still being made. Rocks break down slowly under rain and wind, turning to sand, to dust, to something softer. Dead moss adds to this mixture, creating the first thin layers of real soil. It smells fresh like wet stone and green growth. It feels cool and slightly spongy when you press your hand into it. Now other plants begin to follow. Small ferns unfurl their delicate leaves, reaching just a bit higher than the moss. They too stay close to the water, at first growing beside streams, in marshy places where the ground never quite dries out. Their leaves are soft and green, divided into tiny sections that flutter gently in the breeze. This breeze is something new. In the ocean, there was only current, but here on land air moves in different ways. It can be gentle, barely a whisper, or strong, bending the small plants low. The plants learn to sway with it, to bend without breaking. They learn the rhythm of wind. Time continues its slow march forward. The plants grow taller just slightly. They develop stronger stems. They learn to stand upright against gravity, to reach toward the sunlight without the support of water. Each generation is a little better at this than the last. Each generation adapts bit by bit. Then come the first true trees, though they are not like the trees you know. They are short, strange looking, with thick trunks and scale-like leaves. But they are the first to grow tall, to lift their leaves high above the ground. They stand in clusters near the water, creating the earth's first forests. These forests are quiet. There are no birds yet to sing in the branches, no insects buzzing through the air, no rustling of animals through the undergrowth, just the sound of wind moving through leaves. just the soft patter of rain, just the creaking of young wood learning to bend without snapping. Walk through this ancient forest in your imagination. The ground is soft and damp beneath your feet. Green moss covers everything, cushioning each step. The air smells fresh like wet earth and growing things. It is cooler here in the shade of the trees, protected from the sun's harsh light. Above you, the canopy is sparse. Light filters through, easily creating patterns of brightness and shadow on the forest floor. Everything is green, every shade of green you can imagine. Dark green moss, bright green ferns, the pale green of new growth, the deep green of tree trunks covered in algae. There is something deeply peaceful about this place. No voices, no machines, no hurry. The trees grow at their own pace, adding a few inches each year. The ferns unfurl their leaves, slowly taking days to fully open. Everything happens in nature's time, which is no time at all. Roots grow deeper, now spreading through the soil, like fingers reaching into the earth. They search for water, for nutrients, for solid ground to anchor themselves. They communicate with the soil, changing it, enriching it, making it better for the next generation of plants. The trees don't stand alone. They lean on each other, their roots intertwining beneath the surface. They share resources without knowing they're sharing. They support each other without trying. They are a forest, not just individual trees. Night falls over this ancient woodland. The temperature drops slightly. Dew begins to form on every leaf, every frond, every blade of moss. The plants drink it in, grateful for this gift from the cool night air. They rest in the darkness, waiting for sunrise, as they have done every night since they first left the ocean. In the morning, light returns slowly. First, a pale glow on the horizon, then golden rays breaking through the trees. The leaves turn toward it instinctively, opening themselves to receive its warmth and energy. Photosynthesis begins again, that quiet miracle of turning light into life. This is how plants learned to live on land, not in a single moment, but across ages, not through struggle, but through patience, not by conquering, but by adapting gently to whatever came. They teach us, these ancient plants, that the slowest journey can take you furthest, that patience is not waiting, but growing one small step at a time. So rest now, like the forest at night. Let your roots go deep. Let your leaves close softly. Let the dew of sleep gather on your thoughts. You are safe here, in this quiet green world, where time moves like sap rising slowly through a tree, and where everything grows in its own perfect time. Let's pause for a moment and consider time itself, not the time you know measured in seconds and minutes and hours, but deep time, ancient time, the kind of time that smooths mountains into sand, the kind of time that turns forests into coal, the kind of time in which evolution works its quiet magic. Evolution never rushes. It has no deadlines to meet, no schedules to keep. It moves like a glacier, so slowly that if you were watching, you would see nothing change at all. You could watch for your entire life and see no difference. Your children could watch, and their children, and their children's children, and still everything would look the same. But change is happening, always, constantly, just beneath the surface of what you can see. Each generation is slightly different from the one before, so slightly that no one notices. A leaf a fraction wider, a stem a hair thicker, a root that reaches just a tiny bit deeper into the soil. these changes are so small they seem meaningless. And in a single lifetime, they are. But add them together across thousands of generations, across millions of years, and something remarkable emerges. A new shape, a new ability, a new way of being in the world. Think of it like this. Imagine a shoreline where waves lap against the rocks. Each wave moves a single grain of sand, just one. You could watch for hours and never see the beach change shape. But return in 100 years, and the entire coastline has shifted. The beach is wider or narrower, or curved in a new direction. This is how evolution works, one grain at a time, one small change in each generation. No hurry, no force, just the gentle, persistent pressure of time, moving everything slowly towards something new. There is no plan, no blueprint, no designer deciding what comes next. Evolution doesn't know where it's going. It simply responds to the present moment. A plant that can survive with less water has more children. Those children inherit this ability. Over time, the whole population shifts without anyone deciding it should. Nature has infinite patience. It can wait for the perfect adaptation to emerge. It can try 1,000 variations, and 999 of them can fail, and it doesn't matter. There's always more time, always another generation, always another chance for something to work. Imagine living without any sense of urgency at all, where nothing needs to happen quickly, where there's no such thing as too late, where every mistake is just information and every failure just makes room for another attempt. This is the world of evolution, calm and unhurried, unfolding across ages. A single species might stay almost unchanged for millions of years, living the same way, looking the same generation after generation, not because they're stuck, but because they're already well suited to their world. Why change what works? Evolution doesn't innovate for the sake of it. It only shifts when the world shifts first. Then the climate cools or warms, the rain increases or decreases, a new plant arrives or an old one disappears, and slowly over thousands of generations, the species adapts, not all at once, not through any great effort, just by the simple fact that those who happen to fit the new world a little better have more children. It's like watching a flower bloom, but in slow motion so extreme that the bloom takes 1,000,000 years. First, a tiny swelling at the stem. Then, after ages, a small bud forms. More ages pass, and the bud begins to open fraction by fraction. Eventually, countless generations later, the flower stands full and complete, though no one who saw the beginning is alive to see the end. This is the beauty of evolution. It asks nothing from any individual. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to try. You just have to live and survive, if you can. And if you do, your small differences become part of the future. That's all. No pressure, no judgment, just existence contributing to the slow river of change. Consider the eye, not the complex eye you have now, but the first simple eye. It began as just a patch of cells that could sense light, not see, just feel the difference between bright and dark. This tiny ability gave a slight advantage. Those who had it could move toward food or away from danger a little better than those who didn't. Generations passed, thousands, millions. The light-sensing patch became slightly more complex, then more complex still. A small curve developed, focusing light better. Then a lens formed, then muscles to adjust the lens, each step taking ages, each step so gradual that no one would notice it happening. But over deep time, that tiny patch became the eye with all its intricate beauty. There was no rush to create the eye, no deadline, just time, endless time, allowing tiny improvements to build upon each other so slowly that the process itself becomes meditation. One small change, then rest. Another small change, then rest again, like breathing, like the tide, like the seasons, cycling through their slow dance. You are the product of this process. Every part of you emerged through this patient, unhurried unfolding. Your hands formed over millions of years, starting as fins becoming paws, then fingers. Your lungs began as simple sacs, then divided, then refined. Your brain grew layer by layer, each layer taking ages to develop. And none of your ancestors tried to make these changes happen. They just lived. They survived. They passed on their small differences. And time did the rest slowly, gently, without force or hurry. This is perhaps the most calming truth of evolution. Nothing needs to happen fast. Nothing needs to be forced. Change comes naturally in its own time, when conditions are right. All that's required is patience and the simple act of existing. Think about that tonight as you prepare to sleep. You don't have to become anything you're not already becoming. You don't have to rush towards some distant goal. You can just be like those first simple cells in the ocean, like the moss, learning to live on land, like every living thing that ever existed. Evolution teaches us to trust in slowness, to know that small steps repeated over time lead to places we can't imagine from the start, to understand that rest is part of the process, not a break from it. Every pause is part of the journey. Every moment of stillness allows the next small change to settle in. So breathe slowly now. Let each breath be its own small evolution. Let your body sink deeper into rest millimeter by millimeter, like a plant's roots growing into dark soil. There's no rush. There's never any rush. Time stretches out before you and behind you, and you are exactly where you need to be. The story of life is not a race. It's a gentle drift, a slow turning, a patient unfolding, and you are part of it, perfect as you are changing in ways you'll never notice, carried forward by the same ancient current that carried every living thing from the beginning. Rest in this slowness. Trust in this patience. Let the deep time of evolution rock you gently to sleep. Now let us return to the water for a while. While plants were slowly learning to live on land, the ocean remained full of life. And in those blue depths, something wonderful was happening. The first fish were gliding through the water, moving with a grace that had never existed before. Imagine being a fish in that ancient sea. Your body is sleek and smooth, perfectly shaped by millions of years, to slip through water with almost no effort. You don't walk, you don't crawl, you glide suspended in liquid, weightless and free. The water holds you, every part of you. Your entire body is supported, lifted, cradled by the gentle pressure of the ocean. There is no strain on your back, no weight on your joints. You simply float, and with the smallest movement of your tail, you move forward through the blue. This is a feeling land animals will never truly know. The complete absence of gravity's pull. On land, every creature must fight against being pulled down. Muscles strain to stand. Bones bear weight. But in the water, there is no down, no up. Only the endless three-dimensional space where you can move in any direction with equal ease. Your fins are soft and flexible, like silk ribbons trailing in the current. You don't flap them hard, you don't need to. Just a gentle wave, a subtle shift, and you turn. Another slow sweep of your tail, and you rise toward the light. Let your body relax, and you sink deeper into the cool darkness below. There is a rhythm to swimming that feels like breathing. Push and glide, push and glide. The water flows past your scales, smooth and cool, massaging every part of you as you move. It's not effort, it's dance, it's meditation. It's the most natural thing in the world. The underwater world is quiet in a way that land never is. Sound travels differently here. It's muffled, softened, like everything is wrapped in a gentle blanket. You can hear the low hum of the ocean itself, the deep frequency that resonates through the water. But there are no sharp sounds, no jarring noises. Everything is dull, peaceful calm. Light filters down from above in shifting patterns. The surface of the water above you ripples and waves, and the sunlight dances through it, creating moving shapes of brightness and shadow on the sandy floor below. These patterns shift slowly, hypnotically, like a lamp casting shadows on a bedroom ceiling. You swim through these patterns of light and dark. Sometimes you're in the brightness and the water glows blue-green around you. Sometimes you pass into shadow and everything becomes cooler, dimmer, more mysterious. You move between these zones without thinking, following the gentle pull of the current. The current is your friend. It carries you when you don't want to swim. You can rest your tail, spread your fins, and simply drift. The water knows where it's going. You trust it. You let it take you on its slow journey across the ocean floor, past rocks and sand and swaying plants. There is no wind here to chill you, no rain to soak you, no sun to burn you. The temperature stays constant, comfortable, like a bath that never cools. You could stay here forever, suspended in this perfect warmth, and never feel uncomfortable. Your gills breathe for you without thought. Water flows in through your mouth, over your gills and out. Oxygen is pulled from the water effortlessly. You don't gasp, you don't pant, you don't even notice you're breathing. It happens automatically, smoothly, like your heart beating. Around you, other fish move in the same slow, graceful way. They don't bump into each other. They don't rush. Each one moves in its own path at its own pace, like dancers who know the choreography by heart. There's space for everyone. The ocean is vast, and there's no need to hurry anywhere. Sometimes you swim near the bottom, where the sand is soft and cool. You can feel the slight roughness of it as you pass close by. Small particles lift up in your wake, swirling gently before settling back down. You leave no permanent mark. The sand smooths itself over, and soon there's no sign you were ever there. Other times, you rise to swim in the middle depths, where the water is neither bright nor dark. This is the zone of perfect comfort. Not too warm, not too cool, not too light, not too dim, just right. You could float here for hours, suspended in this perfect balance, and never want to leave. The pressure of the water surrounds you completely. It presses gently on every part of your body, like a firm but tender embrace. This constant, even pressure feels secure, safe, like being held. There's something deeply comforting about feeling this presence all around you, supporting you, protecting you. You don't think about predators. In these early oceans, there are few, Most creatures are still small, still gentle. The ancient seas are peaceful places where fish swim lazy circles eating plants and tiny floating things living their simple lives without fear. At night, the fish slow down even more. The light fades from above, and the water becomes darker, cooler, quieter. You find a crevice between rocks or settle on a soft patch of sand, and you rest. Not quite sleep, but something close. Your fins move slightly automatically, keeping you stable. Your gills continue their slow, steady work. But your mind, such as it is, rests. In this underwater world, there are no seasons yet, no autumn chill, no spring warmth, just the eternal sameness of the ocean, day after day, year after year. The same comfortable temperature, the same gentle light, the same soft pressure all around. Some fish swim deeper, where the pressure increases and the light fades almost to nothing. Down here, everything is slower still. The water is colder, but not unpleasant. The darkness is complete, but not frightening. It's peaceful down here, like the deepest part of sleep. Others stay near the surface, where the light is bright and the water warm. They bask in the sun's filtered rays, feeling the gentle warmth seep through them. They watch the patterns of light shift and change, mesmerized by the endless dance of shadow and brightness. But wherever they swim, whatever depth they choose, all fish know this truth. The water supports them, always, completely. They never have to hold themselves up, never have to bear their own weight. The ocean does that for them, as it has since the first fish evolved fins and learned to glide. This is the gift of water. This is what it means to live in the sea. Complete support, total immersion, the feeling of being held constantly gently by something larger than yourself. No effort required, no strain, no stress, just the slow, peaceful drift through liquid blue. And as you imagine yourself as this ancient fish, feel your own body become lighter. Feel the weight drain away. Feel yourself supported, held cradled by invisible hands. You don't have to hold yourself up anymore. You can let go. You can drift. You can glide into sleep like a fish gliding through water. The ocean rocks you. The current carries you. The pressure surrounds you. You are safe. You are weightless. You are free. Let yourself sink into this feeling, deeper and deeper, until you're floating in the dark, warm depths where nothing disturbs the peace, and everything is soft and quiet and still. After countless ages in the water, something curious begins to happen. Some fish find themselves in shallow places where the water is warm and still. Pools near the shore that heat up in the sun. Marshes where plants grow thick and oxygen runs low. These places are comfortable but challenging. The fish must find a new way to breathe. Slowly, over millions of years, some develop a simple lung, just a small pouch inside them that can hold a bubble of air. They rise to the surface, gulp, and take air down with them. It's awkward at first, this breathing of something so different from water. But it works. It keeps them alive. One day, driven by curiosity, or perhaps by accident, one of these fish pulls itself onto the muddy shore. Its fins, strong from pushing through water, now push against solid ground. It's heavy here, so heavy. The fish has never felt its own weight before. Gravity presses down, making everything difficult. But the shore is interesting. There are insects here, small creatures crawling on the mud, food that no other fish can reach. The pioneer fish rests on the wet earth, breathing air, with its new lung feeling strange and exposed, but also intrigued. After a while, it slides back into the water, relieved to feel weightless again. This journey happens again and again. Generation after generation, some fish venture onto land for brief moments. Their fins slowly change, becoming stronger, developing the beginnings of what will one day be legs. Bones form where before there was only cartilage. Muscles grow to support weight. Imagine being one of these early amphibians caught between two worlds. You are a creature of the water, but the land calls to you. You can breathe air now, though it feels strange to pull this thin substance into your body instead of water. Your skin must stay wet, so you never go far from the shore. In the morning, when dew covers everything, you crawl onto the bank. The mud is cool and soft beneath your belly. You move slowly, clumsily, your four stumpy legs, pushing you forward inch by inch. This is not the graceful gliding of swimming. This is work. But it's also something new, something your ancestors never knew. The air is different from water. It doesn't hold you. It doesn't support you. But it's full of new smells, new sensations. The warmth of the sun on your damp skin, the coolness of shadow under the ferns, the feeling of moisture evaporating slowly from your back, a strange, tickling sensation that tells you it's time to return to the water soon. You don't stay on land long, an hour, maybe two, just long enough to sun yourself, to catch a few insects, to explore the strange, solid world. Then you slide back into the water with a sense of relief. The coolness surrounds you again. The weight lifts. You are home. Your skin is always damp, always glistening with moisture. You must keep it wet, or you'll dry out. So you stay near the water's edge, in the muddy places, the marshy zones, where land and water blend together. You are a creature of the threshold, living in the space between. At night, you retreat fully into the water. You find a quiet spot among the reeds and rest there, half floating, half sitting on the bottom. The water rocks you gently. You breathe through your skin as much as your lungs now, absorbing oxygen from the water while you sleep. You are still at heart a water creature, but each day you return to land. The pull is undeniable. There's something about the solid ground, the open air, the sun's direct warmth. You're learning to love both worlds, unable to commit fully to either. You are amphibious, a word that means living two lives. Your eggs still belong to the water. When the time comes, you return to the pool where you were born and lay them there in the shallows. Tiny eggs that float or stick to plants waiting to hatch. The babies that emerge are fully aquatic at first, swimming with tails breathing through gills. They will learn the land later, as you did. There's a safety in this dual existence. If the land becomes too hot or too dry, you have the water. If the water becomes too crowded or too low in oxygen, you have the land. You are flexible, adaptable, able to move between worlds as needed. This is your gift, your advantage. On rainy days, you venture further from the water. The rain keeps your skin wet, allowing you to explore beyond the muddy shore. You discover the forest floor, soft with moss and fallen leaves. You find hiding places under logs and stones. You learn the landscape slowly, always keeping track of where the water is ready to return at any moment. The sound of rain is comforting. It drums softly on the leaves above, creating a gentle rhythm. Water trickles down bark forms, small streams that wind through the moss. You sit in this rain, letting it wash over you, keeping you moist and cool. This is the best of both worlds, the solidity of land beneath you, the gift of water from above. You begin to understand temperature in a new way. In the water, it was always the same, but on land mornings are cool afternoons, are warm, nights are cold. You learn to move with these changes, basking in sun. When you're cool, retreating to shade or water. When you're warm, your body temperature rises and falls with your surroundings. You are cold-blooded, tied to the temperature of the world around you. This means you must rest often. When it's too cold, you slow down seeking warmth. When it's too hot, you seek coolness. You spend much of your time simply resting, waiting for the temperature to be just right for movement. There's no rushing in your life. Everything happens in its own time, at nature's pace. Other amphibians join you at the water's edge. You see them sometimes, creatures like yourself, living between the worlds. You don't interact much, but there's a comfort in knowing you're not alone in this strange double life. You are pioneers together, slowly learning how to be something new. Years pass, and you grow accustomed to both realms. The water is your sanctuary, your place of rest and refuge. The land is your hunting ground, your place of exploration and warmth. You need both. You are complete only when you can move freely between them. Sometimes you sit at the very edge, where water laps against earth, your front legs on land, your back legs in water, half and half, perfectly balanced. The cool water soothes your lower body, while the warm sun heats your back. This is your favorite place, the border, the threshold, the space that is neither and both. You breathe air, and it fills your simple lungs. You breathe water, and it passes over your gills. You rest on solid ground, but you dream of floating. You swim through water, but you remember the feeling of sun on your back. You are a living bridge between the ancient ocean and the emerging land. And in this state of perpetual, between you find a strange peace. You don't have to choose. You don't have to be only one thing. You can be both, moving between states as easily as breathing, water creature and land creature, swimming and walking, floating and resting, both, always both. As you settle into sleep, now imagine yourself at that threshold, one part of you immersed in cool water, one part of you resting on warm earth, perfectly balanced, perfectly safe, able to return to either world whenever you need, held by both, belonging to both. Let the water hold your lower body weightless and supported. Let the earth hold your upper body solid and stable. Feel yourself at the edge, in the perfect space between where you can simply be, without choosing, without deciding, just existing in the gentle balance of both worlds at once. Sleep is not something new that humans invented. Sleep is ancient, as old as complex life itself. Every creature that has ever lived, from the smallest fish to the largest whale, has needed to rest. Sleep is woven into the very fabric of being alive. It is not a weakness. It is not wasted time. It is essential, beautiful, and universal. Consider the fish in the coral reef at night. As darkness falls, it finds a crevice between rocks. It tucks itself in, wedging its body into the safe space. Its eyes remain open, but they see nothing. Its fins stop moving, except for the tiniest adjustments to stay in place. It is sleeping, suspended in the gentle current, dreaming whatever dreams fish dream. The fish doesn't fight sleep. When night comes, it simply stops. There is no resistance, no trying to stay awake just a little longer. The darkness arrives, and the fish responds by resting. This is the natural way. This is how it has always been. Birds sleep perched on branches, their claws locked in place by a special mechanism that holds them secure even in deep sleep. They tuck their heads under their wings, creating a small warm cave of feathers. Their breathing slows, their heart rate drops. They sway gently with the movement of the branch rocked by the wind, safe in their high perch. Some birds sleep while standing on one leg, the other tucked up into their feathers for warmth. They can sleep with half their brain, at a time one eye open, watching for danger, while the other half rests. This is the gift evolution gave them, the ability to rest while remaining partly aware. But even so, they need full deep sleep, eventually, both halves of the brain, at once, surrendering completely to rest. Lizards bask in the sun, on warm rocks soaking in heat. After a while, their eyes grow heavy. They lower their heads. Their bodies go still. They sleep right there in the sun, their cold blood warmed by the stone beneath them. They need this sleep to process the warmth, to let their bodies use the energy they've absorbed. Sleep and warmth together, gifts of a sunny afternoon. Even the ancient dinosaurs slept. The massive ones would lower themselves slowly to the ground, their huge bodies settling onto the earth with a soft thud. They would curl slightly, as much as their bulk allowed, and close their eyes. For creatures so enormous, sleep was perhaps the only time they felt anything like lightness. In sleep, they didn't feel their weight. In dreams, perhaps they flew. Sleep evolved alongside complexity. As brains grew larger and more intricate, the need for sleep grew stronger. The brain does mysterious things while we sleep. It sorts through the day. It repairs itself. It builds new connections. It clears away the clutter of waking thoughts. Without sleep, the brain cannot function. Without sleep, nothing makes sense. Think about your own brain as you rest now. It has been working all day, processing information, making decisions, keeping track of so many things. Now finally, it can stop. It can turn inward. It can do the quiet work of organizing, healing, growing. This is not laziness. This is vital work that can only happen in sleep. Ancient animals dreamed. We know this because even simple creatures show signs of dreaming sleep. Their eyes move beneath closed lids. Their bodies twitch slightly. Something is happening in their minds, some replay of the day, some processing of experience. Dreams are not uniquely human. They are part of the ancient inheritance we share with all animals. What did the first fish dream about? Perhaps the feeling of water flowing past their scales, the shadow of a larger fish passing overhead, the taste of food, simple sensations replayed and processed, helping the primitive brain learn what was important, what to remember, what to forget. What did amphibians dream as they rested half in water, half on land? Perhaps the transition between worlds, the feeling of weight returning as they crawled onto shore, the relief of slipping back into weightlessness, their dreams teaching them about both realms, helping them become creatures of two worlds. Every animal finds its own way to sleep safely. Some dig burrows and curl up underground. Some climb high into trees where predators cannot reach. Some gather in groups, taking turns keeping watch. Some simply stop where they are trusting in their camouflage to keep them hidden. Sleep is universal, but each species has learned its own method, its own ritual, its own safe place. You are part of this ancient tradition. When you sleep, You join every creature that has ever lived. You participate in a ritual as old as consciousness itself. Your brain does what fish brains and bird brains and lizard brains have done for hundreds of millions of years. It rests, it repairs, it dreams. There is something deeply comforting about this. You are not alone in your need for sleep. You are not weak for feeling tired. You are simply being what you are, a living creature, following the oldest pattern of life: wake and sleep, wake and sleep, the rhythm that has pulsed through every day since animals first developed brains complex enough to need rest. So, let yourself sleep now, as countless creatures are sleeping all around the world at this very moment. Fish suspended in dark water, birds tucked into feathers on quiet branches, lizards cooled by the night, resting on stones that still hold the day's warmth. All of them sleeping as they must, as they were designed to do. Your sleep is natural. It is right. It is part of the great pattern. Let your eyes close like the fish's eyes. Let your breathing slow like the bird's breathing. Let your body grow heavy and still like the lizard's body. You are doing what animals have done since the beginning. You are surrendering to the ancient need for rest. And in this surrender, there is no failure. There is only the oldest wisdom. The wisdom of the body. The wisdom of evolution. The wisdom that knows sleep is not the opposite of life, but part of it, essential, beautiful, and as natural as breathing. The amphibians learned to walk on land, but they could never truly leave the water behind. They were forever tied to wet places, to the shore, to the rain. Their eggs needed water. Their skin needed moisture. They lived between worlds, never fully committing to either. But now something new is emerging, something that will change everything slowly, as all change happens. The first reptiles are appearing, and they carry with them a quiet revolution. They have learned to hold water inside their bodies. They have learned to lay eggs with shells. They are at last truly free to walk the dry earth. Imagine a world of warm silence, where the air hangs heavy and still. The sun beats down on a vast plain covered in low, prehistoric ferns and cycads. The ground is dry, cracked, in places soft with dust. And through this ancient landscape, a massive creature moves with impossible slowness. A long neck rises above the ferns, swaying gently with each step. This is a dinosaur, one of the first giants, and it has all the time in the world. Each footstep takes minutes, not seconds. The great foot lifts heavy and deliberate moves forward through the thick air and comes down with a soft thud that barely disturbs the dust. The earth accepts this weight without complaint. It has held such weight before. It will hold it again. There is no hurry. There has never been any hurry. The dinosaur's neck extends upward, reaching for leaves high in a tall cycad. The neck moves like a crane, slow and steady, controlled by muscles that know only one speed: gradual. The mouth opens, closes around a cluster of leaves, pulls them free with a soft tearing sound. Chewing happens in the same unhurried rhythm. Jaw moving up, down, grinding the tough leaves into something the stomach can digest. There is no thought of the next meal while eating this one. No planning ahead. No worry about tomorrow. Just this moment, this mouthful, this slow grinding of leaves between ancient teeth. When this branch is empty, the neck will reach for another. When this tree is stripped, there will be another tree. The plain is full of food, and the day is long. and there is always enough. After eating for what might be an hour or 3 or 5, the great creature simply stops. The neck lowers slowly, the head coming to rest at a comfortable height. The legs remain locked in place, holding up the massive body without effort. This is how reptiles rest, while standing completely still, conserved barely breathing. The dinosaur's eyes are open, but see nothing in particular. It is not asleep, but neither is it fully awake. It simply is standing in the warm sun, digesting slowly. The sun climbs higher in the sky, and the day grows warmer. Heat soaks into the dinosaur's thick skin, warming the blood beneath. Unlike the amphibians, who had to stay wet, unlike the fish who needed water's constant embrace, this creature generates warmth from within and holds it there. The sun helps, but it doesn't need to bask for hours. It can move through cool mornings. It can walk at night if needed. This is the gift of being reptilian. A body that holds its heat, maintains its temperature, needs less from the world around it. But still the sun feels good. There is pleasure in warmth, soaking deep into massive muscles. After a long time standing, the dinosaur begins to move again. One foot lifts, swings forward, comes down. The other foot lifts, swings, descends. The rhythm is hypnotic, like watching clouds drift across the sky. You could watch for hours and barely notice the creature has moved at all. The tail drags behind, leaving a shallow groove that does. This tail is long, impossibly long, counterbalancing the weight of the neck stretching out ahead. Everything about this creature is designed for slow, stable movement. Nothing quick, nothing sudden, just patient, persistent forward motion through a world that asks nothing more. Other dinosaurs move through the same landscape, each at their own measured pace. A smaller one, perhaps only the size of a horse, walks between the ferns. Its movements are slightly quicker, but still gentle, still calm. It pauses to nibble at low plants, then continues on. There is no competition for food. The plain is vast. There is space for everyone. There is food for everyone. Nature has provided abundantly, and these creatures take only what they need. In the distance, another giant stands perfectly still beside a grove of conifers. From this far away, you cannot tell if it is alive or simply a boulder shaped like a dinosaur. Only after watching for many minutes do you see the neck move just slightly, reaching for a new cluster of needles. The movement is so slow, it seems like a trick of the heat-rippled air. But it is real. Everything here is real, just moving at a speed that makes time itself seem to slow down. The afternoon stretches on warm and golden and eternal. Insects hum in the distance, a low drone that never quite resolves into individual sounds. The air shimmers slightly with heat. Shadows are short and dark beneath the dinosaurs' bodies. And still, the creatures eat or stand or walk their slow circles through the ferns, never rushing, never stopping completely, just existing in the endless rhythm of being alive. One of the giants finds a flat rock, already warmed by hours of sunlight. The creature approaches slowly, then even more slowly, lowers its body. First, the front legs bend, allowing the chest to settle. Then the back legs fold, and the full weight comes to rest on the sun-warmed stone. The tail curves around to one side. The neck lowers until the head rests on the ground, and there the dinosaur lies absorbing heat from below and above, completely still. except for the slow rise and fall of breathing. This is dinosaur sleep, or something close to it. Eyes half closed, body completely relaxed, the massive weight fully supported by the earth. There is no vulnerability in this rest. No predators roam this peaceful plain. Nothing here hunts the giants. They are safe as any creature has ever been lying in the warm afternoon sun with nothing to fear. The breathing is so slow, you could count the spaces between breaths. In, a long pause, out, another pause, in again. The chest rises like a slow wave, falls like the tide going out. Each breath moves tons of flesh, but it moves gently, easily, without strain. This is how giants breathe deeply, slowly, completely. The sky above is clear and blue, unmarked by clouds. Birds have not evolved yet. Nothing flies. The sky belongs only to the sun and the endless blue. It is a simpler sky, a purer sky, untouched by the complications that will come later. Just blue and gold, and the heat that falls from above like a gentle blanket. As the afternoon fades into evening, the light becomes softer, more golden. The dinosaurs who were lying down begin to rise just as slowly as they descended. Legs unfold, bodies lift, necks extend. They shake slightly, dislodging dust, then begin their slow walk again. Not because they must, but because the cooler air makes movement pleasant. They walk to water, to a slow-moving river, where they will drink deeply, then walk back to their feeding grounds. Night will come soon, bringing cooler temperatures and deeper rest. But for now, in this golden hour, they simply walk, step by step, breath by breath, existing in a world that asks nothing of them except that they continue being what they are: massive, gentle, unhurried giants moving through their ancient world at the pace of continents, drifting, teaching us that size does not require speed, that power does not require aggression, that life can be lived slowly, peacefully, one patient step at a time. And as you imagine yourself among them, feel your own breathing slow to match theirs. Feel your body become heavy, like theirs, fully supported by the earth beneath you. Let your thoughts move at dinosaur speed, slow, simple, peaceful. There is nowhere you need to be, nothing you need to do. Just rest here in this ancient afternoon, where time moves like honey, and everything is warm and still, and perfectly, eternally calm. Something remarkable is happening in the cool shadows of the ancient forests, while the great reptiles still roam the warm plains. A different kind of creature is emerging, small, quiet, and covered in something the world has never seen before. Fur, soft, dense fur that holds warmth close to the body. These are the first mammals, and they carry fire within them. Touch the fur of this small creature, and you feel something the reptiles never had: warmth that comes from inside, not from the sun. This tiny animal, no bigger than a mouse, generates its own heat. Its heart beats fast, pumping warm blood through every part of its body. It doesn't need to lie on hot rocks. It doesn't need to wait for morning sun. It carries its own summer inside all the time, even on the coldest nights. Run your fingers through this fur slowly, gently. Each hair is fine and soft, packed so densely that air gets trapped between them. This trapped air creates a blanket, an invisible layer of warmth that surrounds the creature completely. The fur moves under your touch like water, flowing, settling back into place. It is not scales, hard and protective. It is not skin vulnerable to cold. It is something new, a covering that breathes, that insulates, that makes this small creature independent of the world's temperature. The mammal sits in the hollow of a tree, curled into a perfect circle. Its tail wraps around its body, adding another layer of warmth. Its nose tucks under one front paw. Every part of its body works to conserve heat, to hold on to the precious warmth it generates. Even in this curled position, its heart continues its steady rhythm. Thump, 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 thump. Faster than a reptile's heart, but steady, reliable, constant. This heartbeat never stops awake or asleep, keeping the internal fire burning. Inside this tree hollow, something else remarkable is happening. Tiny babies, pink and blind and impossibly small, nestle against their mother's belly. They cannot see yet. They cannot hear. They cannot even maintain their own body temperature. But they don't need to, because their mother is a furnace of gentle warmth. Her body temperature stays constant, always the same. Whether it's day or night, summer or winter, the babies press close to her, and her warmth becomes their warmth. Feel what these babies feel: complete security in warmth. They have never known cold. They have never shivered. From the moment they were born warm and wet, they have been surrounded by their mother's heat. Her fur creates a cave of softness around them. Her heartbeat, stronger and slower than theirs, drums a steady rhythm they can feel through her body. This is their whole world: warmth, softness, the smell of mother, and the constant reassurance of her breathing. The mother's body does something no reptile's body can do. It produces milk, rich and warm, flowing from special glands. The babies don't need to search for food. They don't need to learn to hunt. They simply nurse, drinking this perfect liquid that their mother's body creates just for them. The milk is always the right temperature, always the right consistency, always exactly what they need. This is another gift of being mammalian: the ability to feed your young with your own body, to give them not just warmth, but sustenance, complete care. Outside, the tree hollow, night is falling, and the temperature is dropping. The reptiles have already settled into their cold sleep, their bodies cooling with the air around them. They will not move again until morning brings warmth. But inside the tree, the small mammal family remains active. The mother's heart keeps beating its steady rhythm. Her body keeps generating heat. The babies keep nursing, keep growing, completely unaware that the world outside is growing cold and still. This independence from temperature is a kind of freedom. The mammals can be active at night when the reptiles sleep. They can live in cooler climates, in shadowy forests, in places where the sun doesn't always shine warmly. They are not prisoners of the weather. They carry their own climate with them, wrapped in fur, sustained by their fast-beating hearts. As the night deepens, the mother shifts slightly, carefully, adjusting her position without disturbing her babies. Her movements are slow and deliberate, guided by an instinct to protect. She curls more tightly around them, creating an even smaller space, even warmer, even safer. Her tail tucks more firmly. Her head lowers to shield them from any draft. Every adjustment is about maintaining the perfect environment for these tiny, vulnerable lives. The babies sleep in a pile, their small bodies pressed together. Each one adds its tiny bit of warmth to the others. They breathe in unison, little chests rising and falling in the same rhythm. Sometimes one stirs, searching instinctively for the mother's warmth. and she shifts to bring it closer. There is no thought in these movements, just the deep ancient wisdom of mammalian care. Outside, an owl calls, but inside the tree hollow, all is muffled softness. The world could be howling with wind or silent with snow, and it wouldn't matter. This small cave of warmth is separate, protected, constant. The tree's thick walls keep out drafts. The mother's body keeps out cold. The babies are insulated from everything, wrapped in layers of protection that evolution spent millions of years perfecting. Think about your own body now and feel the warmth it generates. You are a mammal too. Your heart beats its steady rhythm, just like that small creature in the tree. Your body maintains its temperature automatically, without your conscious thought. You have this same gift, the ability to be warm, always independently of the world around you. Your ancestors developed this millions of years ago, and you inherited it, this internal fire that keeps burning, that keeps you alive, that keeps you warm, even on the coldest nights. As you rest, now feel yourself curled like that small mammal. Feel your own body heat surrounding you like fur. Feel your heartbeat steady and strong, pumping warmth through your veins. You don't need to think about staying warm. Your body does it for you automatically, constantly, the way it has done every moment since you were born. Imagine being wrapped in the softest fur, every part of you touched by gentle warmth, your back against something warm, your front covered by something soft, your head pillowed by something that gives just enough. This is what the baby mammals feel, and this is what you can feel too, in your imagination, in your memory of being held, of being safe, of being perfectly, completely warm. The mother's breathing slows as she settles into deeper rest. Her body never stops its work, heart beating, blood flowing, warmth radiating. But her mind quiets. She dreams whatever dreams small mammals dream. Perhaps she dreams of food, of safety, of her babies grown strong. Perhaps she doesn't dream at all, just rests in the deep, wordless peace that comes with knowing your young are safe and warm against you. The babies dream too, their tiny brains processing the simple experiences of their new lives. Warmth, milk, mother's heartbeat, the soft pressure of siblings nearby. These are their first lessons about the world, and they are all lessons about safety, about being cared for, about the goodness of being alive and warm and held. As the long night continues, the tree hollow remains an island of warmth in the cooling world. The temperature outside drops further. Frost might form on the grass. The reptiles lie motionless, their cold bodies barely distinguishing them from the cold earth. But in the tree, life continues at full warmth. Hearts beat, blood flows, breath steams slightly in the small enclosed space. The mammals sleep, but they are still fully alive, still warm, still protected by the remarkable gift of internal fire. And you, as you drift towards sleep, now carry this same gift. Your body will keep you warm all night. Your heart will keep beating its steady rhythm. You don't have to work for it. You don't have to think about it. It simply happens, this ancient mammalian magic of staying warm, staying alive, staying safe through the darkness until morning comes again. Let yourself sink into this warmth now. Feel it radiating from your core, spreading to your fingers and toes. Feel yourself protected, wrapped in invisible fur, curled in an invisible nest, held by the same evolutionary wisdom that protected that first small mammal in its tree hollow millions of years ago. You are warm, you are safe, you are exactly where you need to be. Step into the forest now and let the green embrace you. Not the sparse forests of ferns we saw before, but something richer, deeper, more complete. This is the tropical rainforest, millions of years in the making, where trees have learned to grow tall and dense, where every layer of air is filled with leaves, where green is not just a color, but a presence that surrounds you completely. The light here is different from any light you've known. The sun shines above, bright and hot, but by the time its rays reach you on the forest floor, they have passed through so many layers of leaves that they arrive soft, filtered, tinted green. It's like standing underwater, but the water is made of light and air and the breathing of a million leaves. Everything glows with a gentle emerald luminescence. Stand still and listen to the forest breathe. You cannot hear individual trees breathing, of course, but you can feel it, the subtle movement of air, the coolness released by leaves, the oxygen flowing invisibly from every green surface. The forest is exhaling always, endlessly turning sunlight into air itself. Each leaf is a small lung, and together they breathe for the whole world. Above you, the canopy stretches like a living ceiling. Branches interweave so tightly that you cannot see the sky. Where one tree ends and another begins is impossible to tell. They have grown into each other, around each other, supporting each other, without knowing they do so. A branch from one tree rests on a branch from another. Roots underground tangle and merge. The forest is not individual trees, but one vast organism breathing together, growing together, existing as a single green being. Walk slowly through this space and feel the softness beneath your feet. The ground is covered in layers, fallen leaves decomposing slowly, creating a spongy carpet that cushions each step. Moss grows on everything it can cling to. Ferns unfurl in the shadows. Every surface is alive with something growing, something green, something patient. Nothing here is in a hurry. Growth happens in its own time, which is almost no time at all. A drop of water falls on your shoulder, though it hasn't rained. This is condensation gathering on leaves high above, growing heavy, finally releasing. Another drop lands on your hand, another on your head. The forest is always dripping, always moving water from the air to the leaves to the ground in a cycle so slow and constant you could set a clock by it if clocks measured the rhythm of forests instead of the rhythm of human life. Touch the trunk of a nearby tree and feel the coolness of the bark. This tree is old, perhaps hundreds of years old, though it's hard to tell. It doesn't count its age in the same way you do. It simply exists, year after year, adding a tiny ring of growth each season, barely thickening, barely changing, just continuing. Its bark is rough, but not harsh textured, with grooves where moisture collects, where tiny insects live, where moss begins to take hold. Look up along the trunk, following it with your eyes until it disappears into the green above. Somewhere up there, perhaps 50 meters high, perhaps more, this trunk finally branches. Up there in the canopy is where the tree truly lives, where its leaves spread wide to catch the sunlight, where it competes gently with its neighbors for space and light. But down here, at ground level, the trunk is just a pillar, a living column that has stood in this exact spot for longer than you can imagine. The air is thick with moisture, warm, but not uncomfortable. It clings to your skin like a gentle embrace. Your clothes grow slightly damp, but it doesn't bother you. This humidity is the forest's gift, keeping everything soft, everything alive. Without this moisture, the leaves would dry and crack, the moss would shrivel, the whole ecosystem would collapse into dust. But with it, everything thrives, everything grows, everything remains eternally green. Now it begins to rain, but you barely notice the difference. The sound comes first, soft pattering high above, as drops hit the top layer of leaves. Then slowly, the water begins to work its way down through the canopy, falling from leaf to leaf, taking minutes to travel from sky to ground. By the time it reaches you, it's no longer rain and drops, but a fine mist, a gentle sprinkle, barely more than the forest's constant dripping. Sit down on a fallen log and let the rain fall around you. The log beneath you is soft, not quite solid anymore. It's been here for years, slowly decomposing, feeding the soil, hosting mushrooms and beetles, and tiny plants that grow from its decaying bark. Soon, this log will be earth, and from that earth, new trees will grow. Nothing is wasted here. Everything that falls becomes food for something else. Death and life are the same thing, just different phases of the same slow cycle. Close your eyes and listen only to the rain. Pit-pat, pit-pat, pit-pat. The rhythm is irregular, but somehow perfect. Sometimes many drops fall together. Sometimes there's a pause. Sometimes a heavier drop makes a deeper sound. It's like music, but softer than any music humans make. It's the sound of water returning to earth, of the cycle continuing of the forest, drinking what it needs, and letting the rest flow down to the streams and rivers below. Beneath your feet, invisible and silent, the roots are working. Every tree in this forest has roots that spread wide, searching for water, for nutrients, for stability. These roots intertwine underground, creating a network so vast and complex that if you could see it, it would look like a mirror image of the canopy above. The trees are connected below just as they're connected above. They share resources through these roots, though they don't know they're sharing. They support each other, literally holding each other up when storms come. The forest floor is dim even at midday, but it's not dark. The green light that filters through the leaves is enough to see by enough to reveal the shapes of ferns, the texture of bark, the carpet of moss. Everything is soft-edged here, gentle like seeing through a green veil. Hard shadows don't exist. Sharp contrasts are softened. Everything blends into everything else, all various shades of green and brown, all alive, all part of the same breathing entity. Time moves differently here. A tree might grow 1 centimeter in a year. A fallen log might take a decade to fully decompose. Seeds lie dormant in the soil for years, waiting for the right moment to sprout, a moment when a gap opens in the canopy above, letting in enough light to make growth possible. Everything waits. Everything is patient. The forest has learned that rushing accomplishes nothing, that slow and steady wins no race, because there is no race, just the eternal present of being alive and green. As evening approaches, the light shifts from green to darker green to almost blue-green. The temperature drops slightly, bringing relief from the day's warmth. The rain has stopped, but the dripping continues, will continue all night, will probably continue forever. Somewhere in the canopy, birds settle on branches for the night. Small mammals curl up in tree hollows, but the trees themselves don't sleep. They just continue breathing out oxygen, breathing in carbon dioxide, converting light to life as they have done every day and night for millions of years. Lean back against a tree trunk and feel its solid presence behind you. This tree will not move. It cannot leave. It grows here, in this exact spot, reaching up toward light. It can barely see reaching down with roots that anchor it completely. It asks nothing from you. It doesn't know you're there, but it gives you oxygen, gives you shade, gives you this green sanctuary where the air is pure and the light is soft and everything is exactly as it should be. Let yourself become still, like this tree. Let your breath match the forest's breath, slow, steady, endless. Let your thoughts sink down, like roots into dark earth. Let your worries filter away through leaves of green light. You are part of this forest, now part of this ancient breathing, part of this slow, green dream that began millions of years ago and will continue long after you're gone. Rest here in the heart of green. Let the forest hold you like it holds everything gently, completely, without judgment or hurry. You are safe here, surrounded by living things that ask nothing of you except that you exist and breathe, and let yourself be part of the endless, patient growing of life on earth. Inside your body right now, a clock is ticking, not a clock you can hear or see, but one that has been keeping time since before you were born. This clock doesn't measure hours or minutes. It measures something older, something deeper. It measures the turning of the earth, the rising and setting of the sun, the ancient rhythm of light and darkness that has pulsed through every living thing since life began. Your ancestors knew this rhythm without thinking about it. Millions of years ago, when they were still simple creatures, in the ocean they felt the sun's light filtering through the water. When light came, they became active. When darkness fell, they slowed down, rested, waited for the light to return. This pattern carved itself into their cells, into their very being, and they passed it down to you, generation after generation, an unbroken chain of rhythm stretching back through time. Even now, as evening settles around you, your body knows what to do. It doesn't need you to tell it. It doesn't wait for permission. As the light fades from the sky, something shifts inside you. Your brain, sensing the darkness, begins to release a substance, melatonin, soft and gentle, flowing through your blood like a lullaby made liquid. This is not a decision you make. It is something your body does for you, because it has done this every night for as long as bodies have existed. Feel this melatonin now moving through your veins like warm honey. It touches your mind first, softening the sharp edges of thought. Your concerns begin to blur, to lose their urgency. Things that seemed important an hour ago now seem distant, dreamlike. The melatonin whispers to every cell the day is done. The light has gone. It is time to rest. And your cells listen, because they have been listening to this voice for millions of years. Your eyes grow heavy without you deciding they should. This is the clock inside you, synchronized to the sun, responding to darkness the way flowers close their petals at night. You cannot fight this pull, not really. You can delay it with artificial light, with effort, with caffeine, but the clock keeps ticking, keeps calling you toward sleep. It knows what you need better than you do. Think back through the generations, through all your ancestors. Every single one of them felt this same pull as darkness felt. The fish floating in ancient oceans slowing as sunlight faded, the amphibians at the water's edge settling into stillness, the first mammals in their tree hollows, curling tight as night deepened, the early humans in their caves watching firelight flicker against stone walls, feeling their eyelids grow heavy. All of them responded to this rhythm, this ancient drumbeat of day and night, wake and sleep, light and dark. You are part of this unbroken chain. Your body carries the same clock they carried. Your cells respond to darkness the way their cells did. When night falls, you are not just you are every ancestor who ever lived, all feeling the same, pulled toward rest, all surrendering to the same ancient necessity. This is not weakness. This is connection. This is being part of something vast and old and perfectly designed. The darkness outside is not empty or threatening. It is a signal as reliable as anything in nature. It tells the flowers to close. It tells the birds to tuck their heads beneath their wings. It tells you in a voice older than words that it is safe to let go now, to stop working, to stop thinking, to stop being alert. The darkness is a permission slip written by evolution itself. Your body temperature begins to drop just slightly. You don't notice it happening, but it is another part of the rhythm, another signal from the internal clock. Cooler body temperature means rest is near. Your metabolism slows. Your heartbeat becomes more measured. Your breathing deepens. Everything in you is preparing for sleep, coordinating in a symphony of biological timing that needs no conductor. This is why fighting sleep feels so difficult. You are not just fighting your own tiredness. You are fighting millions of years of evolutionary wisdom. You are fighting the turning of the earth itself. Your body knows the sun has set, and when the sun sets, creatures rest. This has been true since the first organism learned to tell day from night. It will be true long after you are gone. Let yourself yield to this ancient knowing. You don't have to understand how the clock works. You don't have to think about melatonin or circadian rhythms or the biology of sleep. You just have to feel it, the gentle downward pull, the softening of everything sharp, the slow dimming of your inner light as your body prepares for the dark hours ahead. Your ancestors did not resist this pull. They had no electric lights to trick their brains into thinking. Day continued. They had no screens glowing with artificial brightness. When the sun set, they accepted it. They gathered their young close, found their safe places, and let sleep take them. This was not a failure of willpower. This was wisdom. This was living in harmony with the rhythm that all life follows. You can return to that wisdom now. You can let your body's clock guide you the way it has guided every living thing since the beginning. The sun has set, though you may not see it. The darkness has come, though you may have lights around you. But your body knows, deep inside in the oldest parts of your brain, in cells that remember the ancient ocean you know. It is time. Feel your eyelids growing heavier with each breath. This is not you getting tired. This is your body following its program, the one written into your DNA millions of years ago. This is you rejoining the rhythm of all living things, the flowers closing, the birds sleeping, the forest settling into its nighttime quiet. You are not separate from nature. You are nature, and nature is telling you in the gentlest possible voice that the day is done. Your ancestors are with you in this moment, Every single one of them, stretching back through time, felt this same surrender. They closed their eyes in caves, in trees and water, on open plains under the stars. And they survived because they listened to the clock inside them. They rested when darkness came. They trusted the rhythm. And because they did, you are here now, carrying the same clock, feeling the same pull. Let the melatonin do its gentle work. Let your body temperature fall. Let your thoughts slow down like a river entering a wide, calm lake. You don't have to force anything. You don't have to try to sleep. Sleep is not something you do. It is something that happens when you stop doing, when you finally completely allow yourself to follow the rhythm that has been calling you since sunset. The clock inside you is very old and very wise. It knows exactly when you need to rest. It knows how to prepare your body for sleep. It knows how to guide you from waking to dreaming without you having to think about it. All you have to do is listen. All you have to do is yield. All you have to do is trust that your body, like the bodies of your ancestors, knows the way home to sleep. And so you do. You let go. You sink. You follow the ancient rhythm that has pulsed through every living thing since the first cell learned to rest. The darkness outside becomes the darkness inside. Your breathing slows to match the breathing of sleeping creatures everywhere. Your heartbeat finds its nighttime rhythm, and you drift finally into the place where all living things go when the sun sets and the internal clock whispers, "Rest. Now the day is done. Sleep is here." High in the canopy, where the branches are thick and strong, a primate settles in for the night. This is your ancestor, millions of years removed, but still connected to you in ways you can feel. A creature with hands like yours, eyes like yours, a heart that beats the same rhythm. And tonight, like every night, it will sleep in the arms of a tree. The primate chooses its branch carefully, though the choice is mostly instinct. Not too thin, or it might break. Not too thick, or it won't have the gentle give that makes sleep comfortable. Just right a branch, as wide as your forearm, strong but slightly flexible, worn smooth by many nights of use. This is its bedroom, 30 meters above the forest floor, cradled by leaves and sky. It settles down slowly, arranging its body with the patience of one who has done this thousands of times. First it sits, testing the branch's strength. Then it lies along its length, belly down, arms and legs draped on either side. The branch curves slightly under its weight, creating a natural cradle. The primate's fingers curl around the wood, holding on without effort, without thought. This grip is automatic, built into muscles and tendons, a reflex that will not release even in the deepest sleep. Feel what this creature feel, the solid presence of wood beneath you, not hard like stone, but firm and alive, still warm from the day's sun. The bark is rough, but not uncomfortable, textured in a way that gives your skin something to rest against. Your body molds to the curve of the branch, finding the position where everything balances, where no muscle needs to strain to keep you in place. Above the leaves form a roof that moves gently in the evening breeze. The sky beyond is darkening from blue to purple to the deep blue-black of tropical night. A few stars begin to appear. Through gaps in the canopy, tiny points of light that flicker as leaves shift and sway. The primate doesn't look up at them. It has no concept of stars of distance, of the universe beyond. It knows only this: the tree, the branch, the approaching darkness, and the safety of height. All around the forest is settling into its nighttime voice. The daytime birds have gone quiet. The cicadas' loud buzzing fades. In their place come softer sounds, the occasional hoot of a distant primate calling to its family, the rustle of leaves as other creatures find their sleeping spots, the gentle creak of branches swaying in the breeze. These sounds are not alarming. They are familiar, the lullaby the forest sings every night. The primate's breathing slows, matching the rhythm of the gently rocking branch. The tree sways not dramatically, but in small, constant movements, responding to wind, to the weight of creatures, settling on its branches, to its own living flexibility. This movement is soothing, like being rocked in someone's arms. Forward, back, up, down, tiny motions that the primate barely notices, but that lull it deeper into relaxation. Its grip remains firm, even as consciousness fades. The fingers wrapped around the branch do not loosen. This is the gift evolution gave to tree-sleeping creatures, the ability to hold on while asleep, to remain safe even when awareness is gone. The tendons lock in place. The muscles maintain their gentle tension without effort. The primate cannot fall even in dreams. Now the eyes close slowly, heavily. The last thing the primate sees is the darkening sky through the leaves above the familiar canopy that has been its ceiling every night of its life. Then the lids lower, and there is only darkness and the feeling of the branch beneath, and the gentle rocking motion that never quite stops. In this position, 30 meters above the ground, the primate is safer than it would be anywhere else. No predators climb this high. No danger can reach it here. The tree is a guardian holding it above the threats that prowl the forest floor. This height is protection. This height is security. And the body knows. It releases into sleep, completely trusting the tree to hold it through the dark hours. Your own ancestors slept this way for millions of years. Before they came down to walk on the ground, before they built shelters, before they discovered fire, they slept in trees. Every night they climbed up, found their branches, wrapped their fingers around wood, and let sleep take them while the trees held them safe. This memory is still in you, coded into your body, waiting to be remembered. Think about the times you felt most safe while sleeping. Perhaps it was being held or surrounded by pillows, or pressed into a corner where your back felt protected. This is the echo of tree sleeping, the desire to be held, to be supported, to rest in something that will not let you fall. Your body remembers the branches, even though you have never slept in a tree. The primate dreams now, though its dreams are simple. Perhaps it dreams of fruit ripe and sweet. Perhaps it dreams of swinging through the canopy, hand over hand, the joy of movement through three-dimensional space. Perhaps it simply dreams of safety, of the tree holding it, of waking to another day. Whatever the dreams, they are peaceful. There is no anxiety in a creature whose life is this simple, whose needs are this easily met. The branch continues its gentle rocking all night long. The wind comes and goes, sometimes stronger, making the tree sway more noticeably, sometimes dying to nothing, leaving only the tiny movements of the tree's own breathing, its own life processes, causing microscopic shifts in the wood. But always there is movement, always that sense of being cradled, rocked, held. Other primates sleep on nearby branches. The whole family group spread through the same tree. They cannot see each other in the darkness, but they can hear each other breathing, can sense each other's presence. This is another kind of safety, the knowledge that others are near, that you are not alone in the night. If danger comes, someone will notice, will call out a warning, but danger rarely comes. The tree keeps them all safe. Its strong branches, a network of beds in a natural hotel. As the night deepens, the primate's sleep deepens too. Its breathing becomes slower, quieter. Its heartbeat settles into the rhythm of deep rest. The fingers around the branch remain curled, locked in their protective grip, but everything else softens, releases, surrenders completely to sleep. This is trust. Trust in the tree, trust in the night, trust in the body's ability to hold on, even when the mind is far away in dreams. You can feel this trust now in your own body. You are lying down, supported by something solid, a bed, a mat, the earth itself. Like the primate's branch, it holds you without asking anything in return. You don't have to work to stay in place. You don't have to remain alert. You can simply rest, knowing you are held, knowing you are safe, knowing you will not fall. Let your fingers curl slightly, as if holding onto an invisible branch. Feel that automatic grip, that ancient reflex that kept your ancestors safe in the trees. Even now, your body knows how to hold on, how to stay secure while sleeping. You don't have to think about it. Your muscles remember, carrying the wisdom of millions of nights spent high in the canopy. The tree breathes with the primate, its leaves moving air, its roots drawing water. Tree and primate exist in partnership, though neither knows it. The tree provides safety support, a platform above danger. The primate in return spreads the tree's seeds, carries them to new places in its travels. But tonight, there is only rest. Tonight, they simply exist together, the tree standing patient and strong, the primate sleeping in its arms. As dawn approaches, the primate will wake slowly, naturally, with the first light. But that is hours away still. Now, there is only the deep middle of night, the time of complete rest, when the forest is quiet and dark, and every creature sleeps in its chosen place. The primate is one of millions sleeping under this same sky, in trees across the vast tropical forest, all of them held safely above the ground, all of them trusting the branches to keep them secure. And you, lying in your own safe place, can join them in this trust. Let yourself be held like the primate is held. Let yourself rock gently in the rhythm of your own breathing. Let your grip on wakefulness soften and release. The branch beneath you, whatever supports you now, is strong enough. It will not let you fall. You are safe here, in this moment, in this darkness, held by something older and stronger than worry. Close your eyes and feel yourself lifted into the canopy. Feel the gentle sway of the branch, the protection of height, the shelter of leaves above. You are sleeping in a tree, as your ancestors did, safe and secure, and cradled by wood and wind, and the ancient knowledge that here in the arms of the forest, nothing can harm you. Rest now as they rested. Sleep now as they slept. The tree will hold you through the night. Something is changing so slowly that no one alive would ever notice. Generation after generation, across millions of years, the primates are coming down from the trees. Not all at once. Not because they decided to, but because the forest is changing, thinning, opening up into grasslands where trees are fewer, and the ground stretches wide and flat under an endless sky. At first, they only come down for short periods, a few steps across open ground to reach another tree, a quick dash through grass to find fallen fruit, then back up to the safety of branches, back to the familiar cradle of wood and leaves. But each generation ventures a little further. Each generation spends a little more time with feet on earth instead of wrapped around branches. Feel what this feels like standing upright for the first time, not leaning on knuckles as apes do, but fully upright spine, straight head balanced on top. The weight of the skull presses straight down through the spine, now not hanging forward. The arms once used for climbing, for gripping, for swinging, now hang loose at the sides, free, purposeless almost, strange, and light without the constant work of holding on. The feet are changing too, flattening across millennia. Toes that once curved to grip branches are straightening, spreading wide to support weight. The arch of the foot is forming a curve that acts like a spring with each step. These feet are learning to walk, to stride, to carry weight across long distances. They are becoming human feet, though their owners don't know what human means yet. Walking upright is awkward, at first unnatural, for bodies designed to climb. The early humans wobble, catch themselves, take short, careful steps. But there are advantages. They can see further across the grassland, spot danger or food from a distance. They can carry things in their hands, food tools, infants. They can move steadily, for hours, something their tree-dwelling ancestors never needed to do. But at night, they still remember the trees. Even after generations of walking on the ground, the body remembers. When they lie down to sleep, their fingers sometimes curl as if gripping a branch. In dreams, they still climb, still swing, still feel the safety of height. The tree memory is deep coded into every cell, and it doesn't fade just because feet have learned to walk. Now they gather in groups on the open ground as darkness falls. No trees to climb, no branches to sleep on, just the vast grassland and the approaching night, and the vulnerability of being low exposed, reachable. This is new. This is frightening. The body knows it should be higher, safer cradled by wood. But there are no trees here, so they must find another way. Someone has discovered fire, though no one remembers who or when. Now, in the center of the group, flames flicker and dance. Orange light pushes back the darkness. Heat radiates outward in waves, warming skin, drying damp grass, creating a circle of safety. The fire is their tree now, their height, their protection. Nothing comes near the flames. The night predators stay in the outer darkness, eyes reflecting firelight, but not approaching. The humans sit in a circle around the fire, close enough to feel its warmth. Their faces are lit from below, features made strange and beautiful by the dancing light. Shadows shift and move behind them. The flames crackle and pop, sending sparks spiraling upward into the dark sky. Above, stars scatter across the blackness, the same stars their ancestors saw from the canopy, but somehow different, now more vast, more mysterious from down here on the open ground. Someone begins to speak, and the others listen. Not complex language yet, but sounds that carry meaning. A story, perhaps, about the day's hunt, or a warning about danger spotted near the water, or simply sounds of comfort, of connection, of reassuring each other that they are here together, safe for another night. The voice rises and falls in the rhythm of storytelling, the oldest rhythm humans know. This is the beginning of something that will define humanity, sitting in circles, speaking into darkness, sharing stories while fire burns. Every culture that will ever exist will do this. Gather at night, create light, speak to each other, feel the comfort of voices and presence and shared warmth. It starts here on these ancient grasslands with these early humans who are learning what it means to live on the ground. As the night deepens, the talking gradually fades to silence. One by one, they lie down, curling on their sides on the grass. Some use their arms as pillows. Some huddle close together for warmth and security. The fire still burns in the center, tended by whoever wakes, fed with dried grass and branches throughout the night. It must not go out. The darkness beyond is too deep, too full of sounds they cannot identify. In this position, lying on the ground, they are more vulnerable than their ancestors ever were. No branch beneath them, no height protecting them, just earth and grass, and the thin barrier of firelight between them and everything that hunts in darkness. But they have each other, and they have fire, and somehow this is enough. Feel yourself lying there with them, part of this ancient circle. The ground beneath you is hard, but not uncomfortable. The grass is dry and slightly scratchy. The fire warms one side of your body, while the night air cools the other. You can hear others breathing around you, slow and steady. You can smell smoke and grass and earth. You are not in a tree, but you are not alone. This is a different kind of safety, communal and chosen, rather than solitary and high. Your hands lie open now, palms up or down, fingers relaxed. No branch to grip, no need to hold on through the night. This is the great release, the moment when hands became free to do other things besides climbing and gripping. Free to make tools, free to gesture while speaking, free to reach out and touch another person's shoulder, offering comfort in the darkness. Someone's hand does reach out now in your imagination. A mother touching her child's back, a gentle rhythm of pat, pat, pat that says you're safe. I'm here, sleep now. Or two adults lying close hand, finding hand in the darkness, fingers intertwining, holding onto each other instead of to branches. This is the new way of being held, not by trees, but by each other. The fire burns lower coals, glowing deep red. The light dims, but doesn't disappear completely. All night, there will be this glow, this small sun at the center of the circle, keeping the darkness at bay. And in the morning, it will be fed back to flames, and life will continue one more day of walking upright, of using hands for new purposes, of being human in this strange new way. But tonight there is only rest. The stars wheel slowly overhead, indifferent and eternal. The grassland breathes in the darkness, alive with sounds, insects, chirping distant calls of night animals, the whisper of wind through dry grass, and in their circle around the dying fire, the early humans sleep vulnerable and brave, having let go of the trees to embrace the earth. You are their descendant lying in your own safe place. You don't need fire now. You don't need a circle of others around you. But the comfort you feel in being warm, in having light nearby, in knowing others exist, even if you can't see them, this comes from them, from these ancient nights on the grassland, learning to sleep on the ground. Let your hands rest open as theirs did. Let your body sink into whatever supports you, accepting that you are here, on earth, held by ground instead of branch. This is your inheritance, the ability to sleep without gripping to rest, without height, to trust that morning will come, and you will still be here safe, whole, ready to stand upright and walk into another day. The fire of their courage burns in you still. The memory of their circle surrounds you, invisible but present. You are part of their story, the continuation of that first night when humans lay down on open ground and chose to sleep, despite their fear, to rest, despite their vulnerability, to trust that together with fire and presence and the vast sky above, they would survive until dawn. Sleep now as they slept, with open hands, with trust, with the knowledge that you are part of something ancient and ongoing, a chain of sleepers stretching back through millions of years, all the way from branches to ground, from solitary safety to communal warmth, from the first primate curling around wood to you, lying here now at the end of this long, slow journey toward becoming human. Let us pause here for a moment and simply breathe, not to rush forward, but to feel the weight of time itself, the kind of time that doesn't hurry, the kind of time that allows a mountain to wear down to sand grain by grain over millions of years. This is the time in which evolution works, and it moves like honey poured on a cold morning, so slowly you cannot see it flow, but flowing nonetheless. Evolution has no appointments to keep, no deadlines approaching, no schedule demanding it move faster. It simply continues patient, as stone changing things so gradually that if you watched for your entire lifetime, you would see nothing different at all. A leaf might be slightly wider, a root might reach fractionally deeper, but the change would be invisible, lost in the noise of individual variation. Imagine sitting beside a quiet pond and watching it for an hour. The water seems perfectly still. Nothing appears to change, but return in 100 years, and the pond has shifted, perhaps shallower, perhaps filled with different plants, perhaps moved slightly, as the stream feeding it carved a new path. You never saw the change happening. It was too slow for eyes to catch, but it happened steadily, without pause. This is how evolution shapes every living thing. One generation passes something to the next, a trait, a tendency, a tiny variation. The next generation passes it on again, perhaps slightly altered. Another generation, another, and another. Thousands of generations flow by like water, each one barely different from the last, but together creating change that transforms everything. There is no effort in this process. No creature tries to evolve. No plant decides to grow taller over millennia. It simply happens the way water finds the lowest path, without choosing to the way warmth spreads through a room, without planning its route. Life responds to its world quietly, automatically, through the simple fact of living and reproducing. A seed falls to the ground and waits. Perhaps it waits 1 year before conditions are right for sprouting. Perhaps 5 years. Perhaps 20. The seed doesn't grow impatient. It doesn't worry it's taking too long. It simply waits, held in suspended time, until the moment comes. And when it finally sprouts, it grows slowly, adding one cell at a time, one leaf after another, over seasons and years. This patience is built into everything that lives. Trees don't rush toward the sky. They add one ring per year, growing outward, so slowly you'd need to cut them down to see the progress. Animals don't transform overnight. Each generation is nearly identical, to the one before, with changes so subtle they blur into the background of normal variation. But give this process enough time, not years, not centuries, but millions of years, and something remarkable emerges. A fin becomes a leg, a simple eye becomes complex, a creature that lived in water learns to breathe air. These transformations seem impossible when you think of them happening quickly, but spread across deep time, across countless generations, they become not just possible, but inevitable. The ocean has been patient with life for billions of years. It cradled the simplest organisms, asking nothing of them, allowing them to float and divide and float again. No pressure to become more complex, no requirement to change. They could have stayed simple forever, and the ocean would have held them still. But tiny variations accumulated, and some led to advantages, and slowly, so slowly, complexity emerged. The land has been patient too. When the first moss crept from the water's edge, the soil didn't demand it grow faster. When the first trees began reaching toward the sky, the earth didn't set deadlines for how tall they should become. Everything unfolded in its own time, which is to say, in no time at all, just the eternal present moment stretching across ages. You are the result of this patience. Every part of your body emerged through this same slow process. Your eyes developed over millions of years, starting as simple light-detecting cells, gradually becoming more refined. Your hands formed slowly from fins, then paws, then something that could grip and manipulate. Your brain grew layer by layer, each layer taking vast stretches of time to develop. And none of your ancestors rushed this process. They simply lived. They survived when they could. They passed on their traits, whatever those traits happened to be. And time, patient time, sorted through the variations, kept what worked, let go of what didn't, with no hurry, no judgment, no urgency at all. Feel this slowness now in your own body, your breath moving in and out each cycle, taking its own time, your heart beating steadily, not rushing, just continuing its rhythm, your thoughts beginning to drift and slow, like a stream entering a wide, calm lake. Nothing needs to happen quickly. Nothing needs to be forced. Evolution teaches us that the most profound changes come from patience, from allowing each small step to happen in its own time, from trusting that slow accumulation leads somewhere even when we can't see where, from knowing that rest is not opposite to progress but part of it. Every pause allows the next small change to settle in. So rest now in this slowness. Let your body remember that it came from patient time. Let your breath slow to the pace of evolution, deep, unhurried, steady. Let your thoughts drift like seeds on water, going nowhere, in particular just floating. You don't need to become anything you're not already becoming. The process continues, whether you push it or not. The ancient rhythm of change rocks you gently. One breath, one heartbeat, one moment of rest, then another, and another. Millions of years of patience flow through you, now teaching you that it's safe to be slow, safe to rest, safe to let time do its work while you simply exist, breathing, drifting, becoming whatever you will become in time's own perfect, unhurried way. Lie back now and look upward into the ancient night. Not the night you know, filtered through city lights and window glass, but the original darkness that your ancestors saw, complete, absolute, broken only by stars, thousands upon thousands of them, scattered across the blackness like diamond dust. spilled on velvet each one, a tiny point of light that has traveled unimaginable distances to reach your eyes. Your ancestors lay exactly like this night after night, the fire burning low beside them, warmth fading from the air, and above the great dome of the sky, revealing itself as darkness deepened. They had no understanding of what stars were, no concept of distant suns of light years, of the vast universe stretching beyond comprehension. They simply saw beauty and mystery and a kind of peaceful comfort in the constancy of those lights. The stars don't move yet. They seem to breathe, twinkling, shimmering, the slight pulse caused by air moving between you and them. Each star flickers gently bright, then slightly less bright, then bright again. This subtle rhythm is hypnotic, like watching candle flames from far away. Your eyes try to focus on individual stars, but keep drifting, softening, letting the whole sky become a gentle blur of light. The Milky Way stretches overhead like a river of cream, so dense with stars that they blur together into a luminous band crossing the entire sky. Your ancestors had stories about this river. They saw it as a path, or a bridge, or the backbone of the night. They only knew it was beautiful, constant something that appeared every clear night, without fail connecting Earth to something vast and unknowable. In this darkness, there is no confusion about whether it's time to sleep. Your body knows. Every cell knows. When the sun sets and true darkness arrives, not the artificial twilight of streetlights and screens, but real darkness, ancient darkness, your brain begins its nighttime work immediately. Melatonin flows without hesitation. Your temperature drops. Your thoughts slow. This is what darkness has always meant. Rest, safety, the time to stop moving, and let the day end. The sky is so vast, it makes your concerns feel small, not in a way that diminishes you, but in a way that brings relief. Your worries about tomorrow, your anxieties about what was said or left unsaid, all of it shrinks under this immense canopy of stars. The universe has been here for billions of years, simply existing in its patient, eternal way. And somehow, this is deeply comforting. Your breathing naturally matches the rhythm of watching stars. Slow breaths in, slow breaths out. Gaze drifting from one point of light to another, not fixing, not analyzing, just receiving. The stars ask nothing of you. They don't need you to understand them or name them. They simply shine as they've shone for ages, beyond counting, as they'll continue to shine long after you're gone. There is something deeply restful about lying under darkness, is complete, no glare, no brightness demanding your attention, just gentle points of light in a soft black expanse. Your eyes relax in a way they cannot in artificial light. The muscles release. The pupils open wide. You're not straining to see, you're allowing sight to happen passive and easy. Your ancestors found patterns in these stars, drawing invisible lines between them. Bears and hunters, water carriers and scorpions. The patterns meant nothing to the stars themselves, but everything to the humans below. These stories were told around fires, passed from generation to generation, giving people something to calm the mind as sleep approached. The darkness between the stars is just as important as the stars themselves. This blackness is not empty, but full of a space of mystery, of the quiet substance of night that wraps around everything. The darkness doesn't threaten, it cradles. It provides the background that makes the stars visible, the silence that makes peace possible, the stillness that allows rest. You can feel yourself becoming smaller under this sky, not disappearing, but finding your proper scale. You are tiny, lying on the ground, looking up at lights that are actually enormous suns, so far away. Their light takes years to reach you, and yet you don't feel insignificant. You feel part of it, part of this vast, patient cosmos. The night air grows cooler, but you barely notice. Your attention is held by the gentle spectacle above. A shooting star might streak across the sky here and gone in a second. These brief scratches of light remind you that even in stillness, things are moving, changing, continuing their ancient journeys through space. Slowly, your eyelids begin to feel heavy. The stars blur slightly as your focus softens. You blink, and each time your eyes close, it takes longer to open them again. The sky is still there, patient, not minding if you watch or drift away. The stars will continue shining whether you see them or not. This is how your ancestors fell asleep every night, watching darkness deepen, feeling the vastness above, letting their minds grow quiet under the enormous, beautiful sky. They had no electric lights to chase darkness away, no screens to keep their brains alert. When night came, they accepted it. They lay down, looked up briefly, and let sleep take them. You can return to that simplicity now. Imagine the lights around you dimming, fading, disappearing. Imagine only darkness and stars. Imagine your body recognizing this as the signal it was designed to respond to. True night, ancient night. The darkness that has always meant it's time to rest. Let the stars be the last thing you see. Distant, peaceful, eternal. Let the vastness of the night sky remind you that you are held by something larger than yourself. You are safe here, under this ancient canopy, surrounded by darkness that protects rather than threatens. Your ancestors sleep in you still. Their memory of star-filled nights, of lying on the ground and looking up in wonder, this memory lives in your cells, in your brain's response to night, in the way your body knows that darkness means sleep. Close your eyes now as they closed theirs. Let the stars continue shining behind your eyelids, imprinted their gentle after-images. Let the vastness wrap around you like a blanket woven from darkness and distance. Let yourself become small and safe, infinitely held by the ancient night that has always been the time for rest and dreams. Step inside now, away from the stars, into the shelter of stone. Your ancestors found these caves when the weather turned cold, when rain fell for days without stopping, when the open grassland offered no protection. They walked into the darkness, hesitant at first, then deeper, until they found a place where the ceiling was high enough to stand, where the ground was dry, where the walls curved around them like cupped hands. The entrance to the cave is behind you now, a pale semicircle of fading light. But here where you've settled for the night, the darkness is almost complete. Your eyes adjust slowly, picking out the faint shapes of others nearby, the dim glow of a small fire built far from the opening. The darkness is not frightening. It is embracing, wrapping around you, like the softest blanket, holding you in its ancient mineral arms. The walls of the cave are cool when you touch them. Not cold, but pleasantly cool, the temperature of deep earth that never changes with the seasons. In summer, this coolness is relief. In winter, it's warmer than the frozen air outside. The stone holds a perfect constant temperature, as it has for thousands of years, as it will for thousands more. Listen to the silence here. and you'll discover it's not silent at all. There's the occasional drip of water somewhere deeper in the cave, each drop falling with a soft plip that echoes gently off stone walls. There's the quiet breathing of others sleeping nearby. There's the faint crackle of the fire, and beneath it all, a deeper silence, the silence of stone itself, patient and solid and utterly calm. Every sound you make echoes slightly in this space. A breath becomes two breaths, the original and its ghost. A whisper travels along the walls and returns softer, changed. This echo is not disturbing, but comforting, a reminder that the cave is listening, holding every sound, keeping it safe within its stone embrace. The ground beneath you has been smoothed by time and use. Other humans have slept here before you, their bodies wearing down the roughest edges, leaving behind the softest path, the flattest stones. You lie on this ground, and it holds you firmly, completely. There is no give in stone, no softness, yet somehow this hardness is reassuring. The earth will not shift. The ground will not betray you. Above the ceiling arches into darkness, invisible but present. You know it's there even though you can't see it. It protects you from rain, from wind, from the endless sky. For the first time in human evolution, people are sleeping with something solid overhead, not just the open air. This changes something fundamental, the feeling of being inside, of being contained, of being held not just by the earth below, but by a shelter above. The darkness in the cave is deeper than any darkness outside. No starlight penetrates here. No moon glow softens the blackness. This is the darkness of the earth's interior, complete and absolute. Your eyes stay open or closed. It makes no difference. Either way, there is only darkness, and in this darkness, your other senses heighten. You hear more clearly. You feel more acutely. You become more aware of your own breath, your own heartbeat. The air here is still, undisturbed by wind. It smells of a stone and earth and smoke, and the warm scent of sleeping humans. This stillness is profound. Outside air is always moving, stirred by sun and temperature and the turning of the earth. But here, deep in the cave, the air rests as you rest unmoving, patient, held by stone walls. You feel protected on all sides now, not just behind you, but everywhere. The cave surrounds you completely. Nothing can approach without being heard. No predator can surprise you here. The entrance is far away, watched by others. You are deep within the earth itself, held in its most secure embrace, safe as you have never been safe, sleeping under open sky. This feeling of being enclosed is deeply calming. Your body recognizes it as ultimate safety. Walls on all sides, ceiling overhead, solid ground beneath. Every direction is protected. Every angle is secured. You can finally, completely let go of vigilance. You don't need to watch. You don't need to listen carefully. The cave does that for you. The temperature here never changes no matter how long the night. Outside, the air grows colder as dawn approaches, coldest just before the sun returns. But in the cave, the temperature remains constant cool, but not cold as steady as stone, reliable as the earth itself. Your body doesn't need to adjust, doesn't need to compensate. It can simply rest at one perfect, unchanging temperature. Water drips somewhere in the darkness, marking time without urgency. Drip, pause, drip, pause. The rhythm is irregular, but somehow soothing, like a natural clock that measures. Nothing demands nothing, just continues its patient counting of moments. You could listen to this sound forever and never grow tired of it. Others sleep near you, their presence felt rather than seen. You hear their breathing slow and deep. You sense their warmth in the cool air. You are not alone yet. You have your own space, your own small territory on the smooth stone floor. This balance between together and separate is perfect, connected but not crowded, accompanied but not touched, unless you choose. The darkness begins to feel like a presence, a companion, not threatening, but watchful in a benevolent way. The darkness of the cave has held humans for thousands of years, keeping them safe, keeping them warm, keeping them hidden from everything that might harm them. This darkness is a friend, and you can trust it completely. Your breathing slows to match the cave's timeless rhythm. Deep breath in, pulling in the cool, stone-scented air. Slow breath out, releasing the day, releasing thought, releasing everything except the simple fact of being here now, held by stone and darkness. Each breath takes you deeper into rest, deeper into the cave's eternal calm. The stone beneath you seems to soften slightly, or perhaps you're softening into it. Your body finds the exact configuration that requires no effort to maintain. Your head rests on your arm or on soft hide. Your legs curl slightly. Your hands rest loose and open. Every part of you is supported, held, cradled by the earth itself. This is the deepest safety your ancestors ever knew. Not the tree branches that rocked in wind, not the open ground by the fire, but this stone wall's solid ceiling, cool constant darkness, the earth itself becoming shelter. Here in the cave's embrace, they slept the deepest sleep of their lives. And you can sleep that way now. Let the imagined stone walls surround you. Let the darkness become complete. Let the earth hold you in its oldest, strongest arms. You are in the cave, now protected, enclosed, safe. Nothing can reach you here. Nothing can disturb you. You are held by stone that has stood for millions of years and will stand for millions more. Rest here in the deepest darkness, in the coolest stillness, in the most ancient shelter. Let the cave's patience become your patience. Let its darkness become your darkness. Let its eternal, unchanging calm seep into your bones, your breath, your gradually quieting mind. You are safe here in the earth's embrace, sleeping as your ancestors slept, held by stone and darkness and the infinite, gentle patience of the deep. Listen now to the sounds that soothed your ancestors to sleep. Not silence, but the gentle symphony of nature at rest. These sounds have played every night since humans first learned to close their eyes and dream. Your brain recognizes them, knows them as safe, as comforting as the lullaby that has accompanied sleep for hundreds of thousands of years. Rain begins to fall soft and steady on leaves above your shelter. Tap, 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 tap. Not heavy rain that threatens, but gentle rain, persistent rain, the kind that settles in for hours and asks nothing except that you stay still and dry. Each drop hits a leaf, runs down to another, eventually finding earth. The sound is constant, but never monotonous, varying slightly as wind shifts the angle of falling water. This sound tells your body that it's safe to sleep. Rain means no danger will approach. Animals stay sheltered during rain. The sound masks small noises that might otherwise wake you, and there's something deeply calming about being dry while water falls around you. The pleasure of shelter, of being protected, of hearing weather happen outside while you remain warm and safe within. Wind moves through the forest, stirring branches, rustling leaves. Shh. The sound rises and falls, like breathing like the forest itself, inhaling and exhaling in slow, deep cycles. Sometimes it strengthens, growing louder, more insistent. Then it fades to almost nothing, just the faintest whisper of air moving through green. This rise and fall matches the rhythm of sleep, itself waves of deeper rest, followed by lighter moments, then deep again. Your ancestors learned that wind sounds meant safety. If you can hear wind, nothing is stalking you. Predators move in silence. But wind announces itself, fills the air with sound, creates a blanket of noise that says nothing is hunting. You can rest. Your brain still knows. This still responds to wind by releasing tension, by allowing vigilance to soften. Somewhere in the distance, waves meet the shore. Shh, hush, shh, hush, shh, hush. The rhythm is as old as oceans, as steady as tides, as reliable as the moon, pulling water back and forth in the pattern that has never stopped since water first collected on Earth. Each wave builds, slowly rises, crests, then releases onto sand with a long, slow exhale. Crickets begin their evening song as darkness deepens. Chirp, 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 chirp. Not one cricket, but hundreds, their sounds overlapping, creating a wall of gentle noise that fills the night. Each cricket calls at its own tempo, but together they create something larger, a chorus that wraps around you. This sound means summer, means warmth, means the world is alive and functioning, and all is as it should be. An owl calls from somewhere in the dark forest. Hoo hoo, hoo hoo hoo. The sound is low and soft, carrying through the night air. Your ancestors heard this sound and knew they were safe. The owl hunts mice, not humans. Its call is familiar, expected part of the nighttime soundscape that signals normalcy. A stream flows nearby water, moving over smooth stones. The sound is layered, the deeper rush of main current, underneath the lighter trickle of water, finding paths between rocks, the occasional splash where the stream tumbles over a small ledge. This sound never stops, never changes much, providing a constant background that your mind can rest against. These natural sounds don't demand attention the way human-made sounds do. No sharp edges, no sudden changes, no alarms or alerts, just the patient, ongoing sounds of nature, doing what nature does. Rain falling, wind blowing water, flowing creatures calling. Your brain evolved, listening to these sounds every night, and it still knows how to let them guide you toward sleep. Let these sounds surround you now in your imagination. The rain on leaves, the wind through branches, the distant waves, the cricket chorus, the owl's soft call, the flowing stream. Layer them together in your mind, creating the soundscape. Your ancestors fell asleep to the ancient lullaby that still even now tells your deepest self that it's safe to close your eyes and drift away. Your body is not just yours. It belongs to a story that began billions of years ago in warm ocean water with the simplest cells. Every part of you carries this history written in bone and blood. And the quiet work of breathing. You are not separate from the ancient past. You are the past still living, still continuing its patient journey forward. Feel your lungs now expanding and contracting with each breath. These lungs began as something else entirely simple. Pouches in ancient fish used to gulp air when water grew low in oxygen. Over millions of years, they refined, divided, became complex. But they remember their origin. They still know how to pull air from atmosphere, just as those first fish learn to do in shallow, sun-warmed pools. Your hands rest wherever they are, on your chest, by your side, under your cheek. Look at them in your mind. These hands were once fins pushing through water with simple back and forth motions. Then they became the webbed feet of amphibians gripping mud at the water's edge. Then the clawed paws of early reptiles. Then the gripping hands of primates in trees. Each stage building on the last slowly, patiently, until they became these flexible, precise, capable of holding, touching, creating. Your spine runs the length of your back, curved in its particular human way. But this curve is new, relatively speaking. Before you walked upright, your spine was straighter, parallel to the ground, like a dog's, like a lizard's. And before that, it was the flexible backbone of fish, allowing them to swim in their graceful sideways motion. Your spine remembers. All of this carries the story of how creatures learned to move from water to land to standing tall. Deep in your brain, beneath the parts that think and speak and plan, there is an older brain. The reptilian brain, they call it the part that controls breathing, heartbeat, the basic functions of staying alive. This brain is ancient, unchanged for hundreds of millions of years. It's the same brain. The dinosaurs had the same brain that kept reptiles alive through ages. You still use it every moment, relying on its ancient wisdom to keep your heart beating without thought. The salt water in your blood is the same concentration as ancient ocean water. You carry the sea inside you in every vein, every cell. When you sweat, when you cry, you taste the ocean your ancestors came from. This water has been with you with all living things since the beginning. You are still in essence a container of seawater walking on dry land. Your eyes blink slowly as sleep approaches. These eyes began as simple patches of cells that could barely detect light and dark. Over countless generations, they developed lenses, muscles, the ability to see color, to see detail, to see depth, but they still serve the same basic purpose as that first light detecting patch, telling you when it's day and when it's night, when to be active and when to rest. Every part of you is a museum of evolution. Your ears, which once were gill slits in fish, your tailbone, the remnant of a tail your ancestors used for balance, the tiny muscles that make your hair stand up when you're cold, left over from a time when you had fur thick enough to fluff for warmth. Nothing in your body is truly new. Everything has been borrowed, modified, passed down from earlier forms. This means you are connected to everything that ever lived. The fish swimming in oceans right now are your distant cousins. The trees growing in forests share your most ancient ancestors. The bacteria floating in water are your relatives from the very beginning. You are part of an unbroken chain of life that stretches back to the first living cell and forward to whatever comes next. Your body knows things your mind has forgotten. It knows how to sleep when darkness comes, because creatures have been sleeping in darkness for millions of years. It knows how to relax when warm, because reptiles basked in sun to soften their muscles. It knows how to feel safe when enclosed, because mammals huddled in burrows and caves. So trust your body now as you prepare for sleep. It carries the wisdom of billions of years. It knows exactly what to do. Let your lungs breathe as fish first learned to breathe. Let your hands rest as tree-dwelling primates rested theirs. Let your spine curve into the position that millions of years of evolution designed for sleeping. Let your ancient brain slow everything down, preparing for the rest that every creature needs. You are not just a person lying down to sleep. You are the ocean learning to rest on land. You are the fish remembering how to be still. You are the mammal creating your own warmth in the cooling night. You are everything that came before and everything that will come after, all existing in this one body, in this one moment, preparing for the ancient ritual of sleep. Close your eyes and let billions of years of evolution guide you into rest. You are not alone, and you have never been alone. Not in the way you might think. Right now, as you rest, you are connected to every living thing on Earth through invisible threads of shared history, shared biology, shared origin. You are family with the trees outside your window. You are cousins with the birds that sang this morning. You are related, genuinely related, to everything that breathes, grows, or moves. The DNA inside every cell of your body is written in the same language as the DNA in grass. The same 4 letters arranged differently, but fundamentally the same code. When your cells divide, they follow the same process that tree cells follow, that flower cells follow, that the cells of every living thing follow. This is not coincidence. This is inheritance. You share an ancestor with every plant on Earth, a simple cell that lived billions of years ago, from which all green growing things descended, including you. The birds flying through the sky are your distant relatives. Go back far enough in time, millions of years, and you find a common ancestor, a small reptile that learned to survive when dinosaurs disappeared. Some of its descendants became the first mammals. Others became the first birds. You followed one path, they followed another, but you both began in the same place, carried forward by the same patient process of evolution. When you see a dog or a cat or any mammal, you are looking at close family. Not metaphorically, but actually. You share ancestors with them that lived not so long ago, in evolutionary terms, perhaps 60 or 70 million years. You both have fur, or had fur, or carry the genes for fur. You both feed your young with milk. You both maintain your own body temperature. You both care for your offspring. These are not accidents. These are family traits passed down from shared grandparents in the deep past. The fish in the ocean are your older relatives from a more distant branch of the family. But the connection is still there, still real. Your backbone is their backbone modified over time. Your skull began as their skull. The basic architecture of your body spine ribs, 4 limbs came from them, from those first fish that crawled onto land and gave rise to everything that followed, including you. Even the insects, strange and different as they seem, are part of your extended family. Go back far enough, very far more than 500 million years, and you find the ancestor you share with them. Before backbones existed, before most complexity existed, just simple creatures in ancient seas, experimenting with different ways to live. Some became your line, some became theirs, but you both started together. Both emerged from the same primordial soup of early life. This means when you look at the natural world, you are looking at relatives. The forest is full of cousins. The ocean is full of ancient aunts and uncles. The garden outside holds siblings, separated by millions of years, but still connected by unbreakable threads of shared origin. You are not separate from nature. You are nature looking at itself, recognizing itself in different forms. Every living thing on Earth shares the same basic needs you do: water, energy from food or sunlight, a way to reproduce, a place to exist safely. Plants need these things, animals need these things, even bacteria need these things. You are all trying to survive, all following the same basic drive that has pushed life forward since the beginning. This shared need connects you, makes you all participants in the same ancient project of staying alive. When you breathe out, plants breathe in. When plants breathe out, you breathe in. This exchange has been happening for hundreds of millions of years. Animals and plants supporting each other, providing what the other needs, locked in a partnership neither can survive without. Every breath you take connects you to green growing things, completing a cycle that makes life possible for both of you. The atoms in your body right now were once in other living things. The carbon, the oxygen, the nitrogen, all of it has cycled through countless creatures before reaching you. An atom in your hand might once have been in a dinosaur. An atom in your heart might have been in an ancient tree. You are made of the same matter that has always made life recycled endlessly, shared among all living things, connecting you physically to everything that has ever lived. So, as you rest, now feel this connection. You're not a separate being, isolated and alone. You are part of a vast family that includes everything alive. The trees are growing while you sleep. The fish are swimming. The birds will sing at dawn. And all of you, all of us, are doing the same thing, living, breathing, continuing the ancient pattern that began billions of years ago and will continue long after you're gone. There is comfort in this connection. You are part of something so much larger than yourself. You belong to a family that spans the entire planet, that includes every form and shape life has ever taken. When you feel alone, remember, you are related to the grass beneath your feet, to the clouds of plankton in distant oceans, to every creature that has ever drawn breath. Let this connection hold you now as you drift towards sleep. Feel yourself as part of the great web of life, connected by invisible threads to everything that grows and moves and breathes. You are not separate. You are not alone. You are part of the family of life, vast and ancient, and still unfolding, still growing, still becoming whatever it will become next. Rest in this belonging. Rest in this connection. Rest in the knowledge that you are home, surrounded by relatives you may never meet, but who share your deepest nature, your oldest origins, your most fundamental needs. You are family with all life, and in this great family, you are safe. You are held. You are exactly where you belong. There is a wisdom in slowness that the modern world has forgotten, but evolution remembers, nature remembers, and somewhere deep inside you, beneath the hurry and the deadlines and the endless rushing, you remember too. Everything beautiful, everything lasting, everything truly worth having comes slowly, gradually, in its own perfect time. Watch a tree grow if you have the patience, not in hours or days, but across years. Each year it adds one thin ring to its trunk, so thin you can barely see it, so small it seems like nothing. But after 50 years, those rings have created solid wood strong enough to hold up massive branches, tall enough to tower over your head. The tree never rushed. It never tried to grow faster. It simply added one ring per year, patient and steady, and that was enough. The Grand Canyon was carved by water, moving slowly over stone, not in a sudden catastrophic moment, but across millions of years. Each day, the river carried away grains of sand, tiny particles of rock, barely noticeable amounts. But day after day, year after year, century after century, those small removals added up. Now there is a chasm so deep and wide, it takes your breath away. All of it created by patient, unhurried erosion. The ocean shapes beaches grain by grain. Each wave that reaches the shore moves sand just slightly, pushes one pebble a few centimeters closer to the sea, rolls one shell a little further up the beach. The changes are invisible. You could watch for hours and see nothing different, but return after a season, after a year, and the beach has changed shape. The slow work of waves has redesigned the entire coastline without anyone noticing. Mountains rise so slowly you cannot perceive it. Millimeters per year, centimeters per century. The earth pushes upward with unimaginable patience, and rock that was once at sea level finds itself eventually touching clouds. No hurry, no force, just the slow, inevitable pressure of the earth, moving, creating peaks that will stand for millions of years, all because they were built gradually, properly, with no rushing. Evolution itself is the ultimate testament to the beauty of slowness. Nothing in evolution happens quickly. Every change takes generations. Every adaptation requires time measured in thousands or millions of years. And yet, through this incredible slowness, evolution has created everything from the simplest cell to the most complex creatures, from the first green algae to towering forests, from tiny fish to whales and humans. All of it through patience, all of it through the steady accumulation of small changes. You exist because of slowness, because evolution didn't rush, because your ancestors took their time, because each generation was allowed to be almost exactly like the one before, with only tiny variations. If evolution had tried to hurry, it would have failed. Complexity cannot be rushed. Beauty cannot be forced. Life unfolds at its own pace, and that pace is slow, deliberate, unhurried. Your body knows this truth, even when your mind forgets it. Your heart doesn't beat frantically. It beats steadily, one rhythm at a time, never speeding up unless necessary, always returning to its calm pace. Your lungs don't rush to breathe. They take their time filling, completely emptying, completely in a rhythm that has served every breathing creature since breath began. Your body operates on nature's time, which is slow time, patient time, the time that knows hurrying accomplishes nothing. Sleep itself is an act of slowness. You cannot rush into sleep. You cannot force it or make it happen faster. You can only allow it, surrender to it, let it come in its own time. This is one of sleep's great gifts. It teaches you every night that some things simply cannot be hurried. You must slow down. You must stop doing. You must let time pass at its own pace until sleep arrives. The most beautiful moments in life are slow moments. Watching a sunset which takes long minutes to unfold. Sitting with someone you love. Letting silence stretch comfortably between you. Feeling warmth slowly seep into cold hands. Watching bread rise or tea steep, or a flower gradually open its petals to morning light. These moments cannot be rushed. Their beauty exists in their slowness, in the way they teach you to simply be present and wait. Your breath is becoming slower now as you listen to these words. Notice how it deepens naturally without effort, how the space between breaths lengthens slightly, This is your body remembering slowness, returning to it, finding its natural rhythm that exists beneath all the rushing of daily life. This slow breathing is your true rhythm, the pace you are designed for, the speed at which you actually belong. Nothing in nature rushes except in brief moments of necessity. The deer runs fast, only when chased, then returns to grazing slowly. The cheetah sprints only for seconds, then rests for hours. Even the fastest things in nature spend most of their time being slow, conserving energy, moving at a pace that can be sustained. Speed is the exception, slowness is the rule. This is how life survives, not through constant rushing, but through knowing when to move and when to rest. You don't need to accomplish everything today, or this week, or this year. The tree doesn't need to reach full height in a season. The mountain doesn't need to finish rising by Tuesday. The ocean doesn't have a deadline for shaping the coast. Everything important takes time. Everything worth having comes slowly, and you're allowed to move at the same pace. Nature moves gradually, steadily, without hurry. Let go of urgency now. It serves no purpose as you prepare for sleep. Let go of the feeling that you should be doing something, accomplishing something, rushing towards something. There is nowhere to get to, nothing to achieve. Just this moment and the next moment, and the slow drift from waking into sleeping, which happens at its own pace and cannot be hurried. Feel yourself becoming like the tree, adding growth so slowly it's invisible, like the river carving your path through life, gradually, patiently, like the mountain rising imperceptibly, but rising nonetheless. You are part of nature's slowness. You are allowed to take your time. You are allowed to unfold at your own pace, to grow gradually, to change so slowly that you barely notice it happening. This slowness is not laziness. It is wisdom. It is the way everything beautiful has always been created. It is the method that has shaped planets and evolved life and turned single cells into you. Trust in slowness. Trust in patience. Trust that good things come to those who don't rush, who let time do its quiet work, who understand that the deepest changes happen below the surface, invisible and slow. So rest now in this slowness. Let your breath slow further. Let your heartbeat settle into its steady, unhurried rhythm. Let your thoughts drift at their own lazy pace, like clouds crossing a summer sky. You are not racing towards sleep. You are allowing it to arrive in its own time, at its own speed, which is slow and gentle, and perfectly timed, like everything else nature creates. The beauty of slowness surrounds you, now holds you, carries you gently toward the rest you need. Now you know the story of where you came from, not just the recent past, but the deep past, the ancient past. You began in warm ocean water, floating without weight or worry. You climbed onto land slowly over millions of years. You learned to breathe air, to walk upright, to make fire, to look up at stars and wonder. All of this lives in you now, carried in your body, written in your cells, remembered in ways deeper than words. You are not just yourself. You are the ocean still moving in the salt water of your blood. You are the fish still breathing with lungs that began as simple pouches. You are the amphibian still able to feel safe in both worlds. You are the reptile still carrying that ancient brain that keeps you alive without thought. You are the mammal, warm and protected, able to care and be cared for. You are all of these things all at once, a living museum of life's patient journey. And now, after this long journey through time, you have arrived here, in this moment, in this place of rest. After billions of years of evolution, countless generations of ancestors, endless patience, and slow change, you are here, breathing, alive, safe. This moment is not separate from all those ancient moments. It is their continuation. You are evolution's gift to itself, proof that patience works, that slowness creates beauty, that life finds a way. Sleep is your inheritance. Every creature that came before you needed rest. The first cells in the ocean had their quiet periods. The fish slowed in the darkness. The reptiles grew still in the cool evening. The mammals curled together for warmth and safety. The early humans lay by their fires and closed their eyes to the stars. All of them slept, and all of them survived because they slept. This is not weakness. This is wisdom written into the very foundation of life. You are allowed to rest now, not just allowed, designed for it. Your body knows exactly what to do. Your brain has been preparing all evening, releasing melatonin, lowering your temperature, slowing your thoughts. Your muscles are already softening, releasing tension they've held all day. Your breath is already deepening, finding that slower rhythm that belongs to sleep. Everything in you is ready. Everything in you knows the way. Feel yourself sinking now, like those ancient cells sinking through warm water, down through layers of consciousness, through the bright surface, thoughts into dimmer, quieter spaces, down through memory and worry, and planning into the deep place where none of that exists. Just darkness, just peace, just the slow drift of a mind letting go of waking and embracing something older, something that needs no words or thoughts. The ocean is still here holding you. Not the literal ocean, but the memory of it, the feeling of it. You are weightless again, suspended, supported completely. Nothing pulls you down. Nothing holds you up. You simply float, as your ancestors floated for billions of years, cradled by water that asks, nothing gives everything, and will never ever let you fall. Your heart beats its steady rhythm, slower now. Thump, thump, thump. Each beat is calm, unhurried, reliable. It will beat all night while you sleep, continuing its work without your attention, as it has beaten every moment since before you were born. Trust it. Trust your body. It knows what to do. It has known for billions of years. You can let go completely. You can stop managing, stop controlling, stop trying. Your body will keep you alive while you rest. Around you, the whole world is settling into sleep. Birds are tucked into trees. Fish are suspended in dark water. Mammals are curled in their dens. Trees are doing their nighttime work, breathing out oxygen, breathing in the dark. The earth itself is turning slowly, rolling your part of the world away from the sun and into the peaceful shadow of night. You are part of this pattern, this ancient rhythm of day and night, wake and sleep, activity and rest. There is nothing left to do. No more tasks. No more thinking. No more staying alert or paying attention. The day is finished. Your work is done. Whether you accomplished everything you hoped or nothing at all, it doesn't matter now. The night has arrived, and night is not for doing, but for being, for resting, for letting time pass without participation, for surrendering to the oldest need of every living thing. Let your eyes stay closed now. Behind your lids, there is only gentle darkness, perhaps scattered with faint shapes and colors that mean nothing. Let them drift past without following them. You don't need to see any more tonight. The world will still be there in the morning. Everything will wait. Everything can wait. Nothing is so urgent that it cannot be set aside for sleep. Your breathing is so slow now, so deep. Each breath takes its time, filling you completely, emptying you completely. There is no rush between breaths, just the gentle pause, the space of perfect stillness. Then the next breath arrives in its own time. This is the rhythm of deep rest, the breathing that heals, that restores, that allows your body to do all its quiet nighttime work. You are safe as those first cells in the warm ocean, as safe as the mammals in their tree hollows, as safe as the early humans around their fires, as safe as you have ever been or ever will be. Nothing threatens you here. Nothing can reach you in this space of deep rest. You are protected by darkness, by quiet, by the simple fact of lying down and letting go. The story of evolution is also the story of sleep. Every advancement, every change, every new form of life still needed rest. Sleep is not the opposite of progress. Sleep is part of progress. Sleep is when growth happens, when healing occurs, when memories settle and understanding deepens. Sleep is active working, creating just in ways you cannot see or feel. Trust it to do its work. So let go now completely. Let go of this story and every story. Let go of words and meaning and the effort of understanding. Let go of the past that brought you here and the future waiting ahead. Let go of your name, your concerns, your identity, just for now, just for these hours of darkness. Become no one, nothing, just a breathing body in the dark, drifting back to the simplicity of the very first life. You are the ocean floating. You are the darkness embracing everything. You are the slowness taking your time. You are the patience knowing morning will come without hurry. You are the ancient rhythm still pulsing, still continuing, still here, after billions of years of being here. Sleep now, deeply, completely, without resistance. Your ancestors are sleeping with you, all of them from the first cell to the last person. You are never alone in sleep. You are part of the great, resting the nightly surrender that every living thing makes, the trust that tomorrow will arrive, whether we watch for it or not. Sleep and let the gentle journey continue without you for a while. Let evolution keep working its slow magic. Let the earth keep turning. Let the stars keep shining. Let everything continue while you rest, held by the same forces that have held every sleeping creature since sleep began. You are home now, in the deep darkness, in the warm embrace, in the ancient pattern of rest that will carry you safely until morning. Sleep, sleep, sleep.